Saturday Night Hockey in Hat City, USA. Welcome in to Danbury Ice Arena for what promises to be an entertaining evening between two rivals in the Federal Prospects Hockey League. Alongside Jim Cerny, I'm Chris Lynch. And Jim, I don't think there's any place you can start when talking about the hat tricks. There's no place you can start ahead of the remarkable success that Dustin Gesso and Luke Richards have had on their line together.
Yeah, most hockey coaches will tell you when they put together line combinations, the key is they want two guys that really gel together. So you see Johnny Ruiz and Gordy Bonnell are a good example of that. For a couple seasons now, they've been consistent line mates. Well, right since they got put together last week, Dustin Gesso and Luke Richards have meshed, and they have crushed it in the first 3 games of the season. Dustin Gesso leads the league in scoring. He has 5 goals, 12 points in the first 3 games. Yeah, Chris, I'll do the math for you. That is averaging 4 points a game.
Casually.
Unsustainable pace, yes. But boy, he's been terrific. But don't sell the kid short. Luke Richards, the 21-year-old rookie, didn't have a point in his first game on Friday, but since then, he has rung up 9 points in his next 2 games, including 2 goals and an assist last night for a 3-point effort. They are just absolutely flying together. And it doesn't matter who you put on that line, they're just getting it done. And right now, that is the top line. Hard to imagine that the Ruiz-Bonnell line is actually probably your second line right now. But if you can throw out a top 6 headed by those guys, boy, you're in good shape.
You're very happy with how you're going, especially since you know that Johnny Ruiz and Gordy Bonnell are going to get it going. You're not going to go 3 games for Gordy Bonnell with just 1 point with an assist. You know that's not going to keep up. Just as Richard's remarkable offensive performance is probably a little bit unsustainable. Much as we would like for it to continue, it probably is a little unsustainable. Still, though, Gordy Bonnell's lack of goals is not going to keep up.
It's only 3 games, and Gordy's a little snake bit, and, they tried to set him up and what have you. Here's the bottom line. This is what Gordy Bonnell cares about, and this is what Billy McCreary cares about. This is what everybody in that dressing room of the Hat-Tricks cares about. They played 3 games. They have won 3 games.
Yep.
That's all that matters to them. It is all about the W's. And that's why I think tonight's matchup, I know there's a big build up to this one. There's certainly, a pretty big rivalry going on here with Danbury and Binghamton, especially coming off last night's 5-1 hat trick win, where there were 6 fights in the game, over 100 penalty minutes in the game. I think tonight's game, it's going to be a hard fought physical game. But you got 2 teams that want 3 points out there today, and to gain that top spot, fight for the top spot in the Empire Division. So I expect a really, really good game tonight of 2 of what I think are going to be, when it's all said and done, 2 of the best teams in this league.
Binghamton's had kind of an up-and-down start to the season. They're going with their 3rd different goalie of the weekend starting in net. Riley McVeigh takes the spot in net, number 30 for them. Joseph Shepard is going to be his backup for the night.
Yeah, Shepard stepped in last night after Owen Liskovitz was knocked out of the game. Liskovitz allowed 4 goals in the first 9 minutes of the game. And he lasted the first period, and then Shepard came in and replaced him. And Shepard was very good the rest of the way. He allowed 1 goal, that was it, over the final 40 minutes. So he gave Binghamton a chance to come back. Yeah. But boy, was Brian Wilson good for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. And last night he made 23 saves in his season debut, and he's going to go back-to-back. He's going to get the call again tonight.
Looking for that sort of opportunity. Well, we'll give you the Danbury starters, Dustin Gesso, Luke Richards, and Brendan Sheehan, predictably. Cody Gibbs draws back into the lineup, and Brendan Dowler get the start on the blue line, and Brian Wilson gets the start in net. An underrated story of last night's game, I think, is how good Brian Wilson looked. Not a ton of pressure that he faced, but when he was asked to, he stopped the puck. He made a couple of really impressive saves.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. He only faced 3 shots in that opening period, but after that, once Binghamton kind of, they found their footing in the second period and moving forward into the third period, Wilson got tested more on a more consistent basis. I thought he was really good. Billy McCreary used the perfect word when we were talking about Brian Wilson before tonight's game. He said last night, Wilson played a quiet game. That meant the game came to him. That meant he was swallowing up the puck. There weren't rebounds. He moved smoothly, within his crease, not allowing a lot of scoring or not giving a lot of the net to create prime scoring opportunities for Binghamton. I thought Brian Wilson was really good last night. Stopped 23 of 24 shots as the Hat Tricks won by the count of 5-1. Interesting note going into this game, Hat Tricks have not trailed for a single second this season.
We're going to leave it on our audio setup and allow you to take in Hudson D. Tomaso, the in-house organist, playing the national anthem of both the Dominion of Canada and the United States of America. The anthems have been played. The teams are just about ready to begin tonight's hockey game. Hat Tricks will be in their home black uniforms with the rabbit logo front and center. Binghamton in their road whites, exactly the same look, slight different feel. Got some people in Halloween costumes. I saw a guy walking around as Deadpool. This is all now. Our apologies for the technical difficulties. We've got our visual up and running. The game is underway. Both teams just looking for their first saves. Nice hit thrown by Dowler in the corner. He's been a fun player to watch for the Hat Tricks in the early going. Cody Gibbs, who drew back in, just to funnel this out. Dowler. And also a friendly guest joining the Hat-Tricks on the bench, Steve Brown.
Well, he's not assist. He is going to be an assistant coach this season.
Yeah, he'll be joining in, and this is his first game behind the bench with the Hat-Tricks, a very well-liked player and very well-liked man as Lugo drives in. Shot is blocked. Worth noting, Tobias Ojic is drawn back into the lineup, and they got 5 goals yesterday without.
And he delivers a big hit on his first shift.
That's good to see. He'll be asked to do an awful lot. Springs his way free. Here comes Binghamton downhill. Save made on the first shot of the game for Jesse Anderson. Nice run right downhill for Binghamton to get an opening opportunity here. Still hustling away at it and still working to try and muscle that in is Gavin Abbott. And it's worth noting that Binghamton has a couple of changes from last night's game as that's blocked aside. Good block by Kyle Gonzalez to the circle, failed on it. Save made by Wilson. He'll dive on it and cover, and that is that.
Yeah, Binghamton coming out with a little life tonight. That's exactly what I expected. They are a little short-handed, however. Gavin Yates was injured in the third period last night. We do not know the extent of his injuries, but he is not in the lineup tonight. Austin Thompson was hurt early in the game, came back after that injury, finished the game, but he's not in the lineup tonight. And also, all-star defenseman Kyle Powell remains out of the lineup for Binghamton. He didn't play last night, and he's not playing tonight either. So that is 3 key guys out of the lineup for Binghamton. And they're also playing without MJ Merkel, who is serving the second game of the 2-game suspension.
Head coach Gary Gill deserves an awful lot of credit for being able to wrangle up some players and being able to fill out the rest of his roster. And they gave a competitive effort last night as the puck bounces across the goal mouth. All corners in this rink, it seems, are a little bit cursed. Yeah, retreats. Offensively minded defenseman, as this will swing to the slot. Good sliding effort by Kodiak Whiteduck to block it. Trying to shovel this out of play. Sits at the circle. We've got a whistle. This is going to be a penalty. It's a high sticking infraction. Looking to see who is actually going to shuffle his way off.
Might be Johnny Ruiz, and Johnny's incredulous.
Yeah, he saw me.
You losing me?
Yeah, by the way, we did finish yesterday's game in a suit. He's on the ice again, so he's playing, which is a good sign and a friendly reminder of how tough Johnny Ruiz is. First penalty of the game, and so the Hat-Tricks penalty kill has to go out. This has been one of the bright spots for the Hat-Tricks. The penalty kill has been excellent in where we're going.
Yeah, I've killed 11 of 12 power plays against to start the season, including 4 for 4 last night.
Shot on from the point. Drecker is a little bit wide. Wilson didn't know where it was after the redirect. And it's hurled hard down to the opposite end of the ring. Gesso in pursuit. That's kind of the break that fluttered. Wilson didn't know where that was after the redirect.
It just happened to hit his right pad and slide towards the corner.
It's good positioning where you just put yourself in the right spot.
That's exactly it, and that's a lot of what we talked about last night. Wilson always seemed to be in the right position.
That's good awareness for a goalie. And they loved him up at Niagara when he played for the Purple Eagles, and they absolutely love him here. All the teammates rave about him as well. To the red line and over. Drop pass for Lewis. Up top for the one-timer. Big-time blast by Cameron Yarwood. Save made by Wilson. They'll try it to the circle again. Lugo tries to get it up only to the blue line. Tries it here to the right side. Looks and looks. Picked off. Here comes Lugo. Hemaway on his right hip. Lugo to the circle. Winds up. Shoots it. Oh, he's short. Breaks the ice. And then his third goal of the young season. Holy cow, that starts.
Yeah, an interception. That's like a pick six right there. He caught it in mid-flight in his own end of the ice, and he picked it off. He took off right wing. He kind of looked off Pamelayan, who was going down the middle, and then snapped a shot from the right circle, and it seemed to handcuff Riley McVeigh. And so McVeigh making his Binghamton debut. The first shot he sees is a short-handed goal allowed, and Danbury takes a 1-0 lead, continuing a trend. It is the 4th straight game to start the season that not only has Danbury scored the first goal, but they've done it in the opening minutes of the game.
That's an unbelievably good trait to have when you start a game on time. And it's actually, you might be able to say, is somehow still the weakest start that Danbury has had, because they took a penalty in the first 5 minutes, and that still didn't really matter.
And it didn't matter. They still scored. And it was funny because you're watching as the game's unfolding. You're trying to get a feel for how the game's going to go, or at least how it's starting. And I'm thinking in my head, boy, it's a good start for Binghamton. They have to be happy with this start. Good pressure at even strength, draw the penalty, and then they go to the power play. They continued with some good chances. Wilson had to make a couple good stops, and I'm thinking, boy, Binghamton's got to be happy with this start. And then, boom, the mistake, and Evan Lugo makes them pay. And as you pointed out, his 3rd goal already. That is Danbury's 4th shorthanded goal to start the season.
That's another great habit. Danbury is showing every single positive trend that you want to see out of a team. You want to see a team that can fight. You want to see a team that can score. See a team that can limit the other team's opportunities. They had a good offensive unit in Binghamton last night to 1 goal and 24 shots on net with 23 saves by your goalie. And you're getting shorthanded goals as well. That's a wonderful sign to see as the Danbury fans chanting the word "sieve" at the opposite goalie, which is a common refrain among all hockey circles. And ahead, no icing here.
Yeah, because they're short-handed.
All right. Leonard in pursuit. Honestly, they scored, and I forgot that they were short.
Yeah.
It honestly hasn't felt much of a hindrance, actually, for them this season. Schultz gains, circle, turns, wants to wrap around, and scores. Oh, boy. They finally get a power play goal, only the 2nd allowed by the Danbury hat-tricks on the young season. That's a great, great wraparound by D'Angelo.
Yeah, pretty play by D'Angelo. And he got Wilson kind of caught off the post. And, yeah, Wilson lost his stick. As he slid across, he lost the handle on his stick. And it went sliding across. And D'Angelo, with the long reach, was able to tuck it around the inside of the post. His 2nd goal of the season, a power play goal, and we're evened up at 4:36 of the first period.
So we're evened up here. That's more like the Binghamton team that we expected to see. And we've got some guys who can make some real skilled plays.
I mean, really, that's about the effort there.
Yep.
That is a big guy going hard to the net, making a good play. And you credit D'Angelo as the puck goes up into the netting there. You give credit to where credit's due, and that was a real good play. Wilson will probably tell you that, hey, I should have gotten over to the post and had it covered. But, he got stuck a little bit on the near side, the near post here, and then by the time he shot across, D'Angelo was there, and he wrapped it home.
And all good goalies are going to be much harder on themselves than the regular viewer is going to be. Shot on save made. Nice bomb from the point by McDonald. Gonzalez settles it down. 2-0. Quickly threw it behind him. Pass a little bit further forward, then we may have a real danger opportunity for the Black Bears. Gonzalez slaloms forward, has his man spinning, and will just leave it for his teammates to go chase as he hops out. We're a little over 5 minutes into the game tonight, and we've already had a pair of goals, one each. Binghamton with a power play goal on the same power play that they gave up a shorthanded goal. Here comes Sheehan, sprinting ahead. On his backhand, poked off the stick by Schultz, and a penalty against Binghamton. That's the 2nd penalty of the game, first taken by the Black Bears tonight.
So an opportunity to answer right back if you're Danbury. You give up the power play goal early. Now you get a man advantage of your own. And you really worked hard to draw that penalty. Sheehan busting through the zone into the offensive zone. Good stride, and he forces the opposition to take a penalty, so that he didn't get off a shot. So good effort by Sheehan, draws the penalty and draws the power play for Danbury here.
We're getting a timeout.
Looks like Danbury's going to call a timeout and draw this one up right away. And also, another thing that I question is Ivashkin was credited with the goal. That was not Ivashkin.
No, that was D'Angelo. That was... this is an interesting time to take a timeout. We'll take it as well and catch our breath. Brief pause, back in just a second from the Danbury Ice Arena here on the Danbury Hat-Tricks official YouTube channel.
TK's American Cafe on White Street in Danbury. Stop by TK's to try one of their 76 amazing wings flavors. www.tksamericancafe.com.
TK's Corner, one of the newest additions to the Danbury Ice Arena. And put it to the goal line, extended across. Sits in the goal crease, and did the net come off its moorings? The official blows the play dead. Yes, it did. Only slightly, but only slightly is enough.
Yeah, so McVeigh there... puck kind of came out in front, got deflected towards him, and as he was scrambling to keep it out of the net, he backed up, and the net just came off the stanchion. Riley McVeigh, 24-year-old from Calgary, he went to training camp with Evansville in the Southern Pro League, didn't make the team, so he comes back here to Binghamton, and then he makes his pro debut here tonight. Guy that played 3 years at University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. And he's the opposite of their other goalies. He's a smaller guy, 5'10", was watching him in warm-ups, really quick side to side, as opposed to the really big net minders that they have in Liskowitz and Shepard.
And Eau Claire's a very, very good D3 college space.
Yes.
Up to the point, Leonard winds up one-timer, hammered at by Ruiz. Skitters wide. Actually, wild note about, there's only one D1 hockey school in the state of Wisconsin. That's the Badgers. Everywhere else is D3 as a man's stick goes flying. That's actually Sheehan's stick who goes flying out of his hands. He has to pick it up. This will kill off some time for the Black Bears. Ruiz with the blast. Blocked. That's a brave block by Josh Newberg as he'll get the puck out. I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of a Johnny Ruiz one-timer.
Yeah, he's set up in that left circle like he does on the power play. Had the one-timer, had a good look, and Newberg just made a good play, a gutty play, as he called it.
They've killed off the first minute of the power play. Benal poked off his stick. Brett Parker doing the honors and sending it down to the opposite end of the rink. 50 seconds left on the power play. 13:08 left here in the opening frame. Chris Lynch and Jim Cerny here on the call for you on the Danbury Hat-Tricks YouTube channel. Each team with a special teams goal as Wilson's out to play this one. Going to get back over into his net while Jared Yao will fling it across for Johnny McDonald. Looks for someplace to go with it. Cuts around. They've got the Gesso Pamaleon out there as well. And Richards, one of the forwards for the power play. Two defensemen out there right now. Yao and McDonald, your two most offensively minded defensemen as the puck will flutter up into the protective netting overhead. And we've got 6 seconds left. Binghamton's looking to kill off their first penalty of the night.
And we see Tobias Ojic coming out for the end of this power play back in the lineup. He had 4 points in the first 2 games. Actually, 4 points all coming on Saturday night in that win against Delaware. He had a goal and 3 assists in that game. He did not play last night. He draws back in today. And again, he's a guy that not only gives you offensive skill, he gives you grit as well. He's a tough guy, gets in on the forecheck, uses his body. It's going to play a big role in tonight's game. I expect this to be a skill game, yes, but I think a heavy game as well. We've already seen it from Binghamton. They've really picked up their forecheck from last night. Much, much more aggressive on the forecheck. So the Hat-Tricks are going to have to answer back in kind, and I think Ojic's going to be a big part of that.
Yeah, this has been as much as possible, this has really been a pretty straightforward game. Like, yep, no mess, just kind of a hockey game.
Yeah,
which is a good sight to see after the mess that the third period was last night.
Yep, a lot of penalties last night, devolved into 6 fights, over 100 penalty minutes in the game. Listen, everybody wants to see good, hard, physical hockey. And, again, we're 7.5 minutes into the game. So we'll see how this one evolves. But so far, like what I see from both teams.
The reason for the elongated pause is they were correcting the score clock. It has been. They added a couple seconds back onto the power play. It's not going to matter. The power play is all done. And the PK for Binghamton is 1-for-1 so far tonight. Puck sits right against the official skate. Poked out back to neutral territory. Fading to Boissard. They'll shovel this one to the blue line. Yao there for it. Ojic settles it. Absorbs some punishment. That's the thing about physical players is that you have to be willing to take a whole bunch of hits as well.
They are, absolutely.
He's willing to do it. He's still young enough that, might not know much.
Here's the thing. He took the hit along the wall, and the other guy went down. Tobias didn't.
Save made by Wilson on the Anderson shot. Picked off at the circle. White Duck tried to clear it. Anderson there for it. Ojic gloves it. Plays it to himself and tries to get it forward to Ole Venstrom. Our first time seeing him. Here comes Ojic to the blue line. Tried to feed it across. Wasn't anyone really to give it to. And Binghamton gets a bit of a break. Jurgic forward. Wrapped up. Good defensive work by Cody Gibbs, who's drawn back into the lineup.
I think that's a bad decision by Jurgic. He is one of the top offensive players in the league, and he chose to try and throw a hit instead of control the puck and make an offensive play on a one-on-one rush.
Just try and make a good skill play as Bonnell breaks up the run by D'Angelo.
His decision didn't make any sense.
Yeah. If you get a chance with the puck on your stick, go to the net.
Well, especially him.
Yeah.
And instead, he left the puck behind to put a shoulder into Gibbs.
Springs free. Here's a chance for Binghamton. Cuts off. Good breakup. Good presence by Dustin Gesso to interrupt Nikita Ivashkin's advance. And, with all the offensive production, it's worth noting Jesso's a responsible total package player. Here's a turnover. He'll shoot it. It's a little bit wide. Kept in at the line by Yao. Absorbs the punishment. Keeps on trucking. Thrown across. Oh, just missed the post. That would have been a real highlight caliber goal if it had gone down.
Yeah, he twice tried to go far side, tried to go stick side up high on McVeigh, and he missed the net both times.
Ivashkin will work it, tries the wrap. High slot, works it, shoots it, glove hand save by Wilson, and kills the play. The shot counter showing up as 6-2 on the board right now. That's been...
For Binghamton.
Yeah, for Binghamton. This has been a little bit lopsided. We'll take a breather, come back in a little bit with the rest of the first period between the Hat Tricks and the Black Bears here on the Danbury Hat Tricks YouTube channel.
Well, Chris, Dr. Jared DiLorenzo is a proud member of the Danbury Hat Tricks medical team. Stop by and see them on North Street in downtown Danbury. Feeling good is an option. They can get you there.
I'm very happy to know that there's good people taking care of the Danbury Hat Tricks. And Johnny Ruiz must be noted, playing tonight. He finished last game in a suit and coaching from the bench. He actually had to be restrained a bit by Tyler Noseworthy.
Yeah.
That's a passionate guy. As the puck sits on the apron of the goal.
And we'll get a whistle and a face-off in the Hat Tricks end. Yeah. Johnny took a double-fisted shot, a stick to the lower back near the end of the second period. And he really was in discomfort when he skated back to the dressing room. He didn't come out for the third. Well, he did, but he came out in a suit, not in a uniform. Was questionable for tonight, but he's back out there for the Hat-Tricks.
Interesting bounce coming off of Brett Parker's stick. They'll get it out to neutral territory. JT Walters retreats. Let's need some help. Mac Lewis is there. Absorbs the hit from Richards. Turned over. Gesso bounces away from McVeigh's stick. Hat-Tricks in pursuit. You can definitely tell that Binghamton's increasing their forecheck. Danbury really hasn't gotten that much sustained offensive pressure, hoping that this cracks. That is, shot tipped away. I think that maybe caught Lugo's stick. And as they now start to complete the line change, Oli Venstrom will hop out. This is the first time that we've gotten to see Oli Venstrom.
Yep, a guy, 30-year-old from Sweden, guy that has spent most of his career playing in Europe, Sweden and Norway. Came to the FPHL, played one game with Elmira, was let go, and then he was a little banged up, so he was not ready to play last weekend for the Hat-Tricks. Didn't play last night. It's hard to miss him, though, when he's out there. He is a big man, 6'3", 220 pounds.
Big guy from Gallivare, Sweden. I hope I pronounced that correctly. All the pronunciation of all the Nordic languages is very complicated, to say the least. To the high circle, shot well over and off the end glass. Now up there, try it, blocked down by Kodiak Whiteduck. This doesn't have the legs to turn into an icing play. Ricky Regala, big hit from Pamela throwing it. A flying Hawaiian, here comes Binghamton, shoots it, nice block. Great effort by Johnny McDonald as he goes tumbling hard into the corner boards.
Boy, oh boy, first of all, terrific effort and recovery by Johnny McDonald to get back, get his stick in the way of that shot. Right at the last instant, Anderson was flying up left wing. Thought he was going to have a clear shot on net. But Johnny comes back. Great effort to deflect the puck. But then he went skittering hard into the boards. Skates first. And if you had a camera on me, you would have seen me wince. Because I didn't think it looked good. But he got up quickly and he's, back up. He's fine.
I don't have the benefit of a camera. I just have my vision standing next to me. I can confirm this man did wince.
He did. But Johnny's fine. He's out there right now chasing the puck.
He's tough. He's a hockey player. Shake it off.
Yeah.
I always thought about playing hockey as a kid. I thought about it for a little bit. I told my mom I would have wanted to be a goalie if I'd ever played. My mom went, great, I would have never come to your games.
Yeah.
Goalies are stress. Drop pass up top. Shot tipped. Save made by McVeigh. Handle it out to the right side. Still working at it. Gordy Bonnell tries playing it to himself. Backhands it over. Thought that was going to be called for a hand pass against D'Angelo. It's not. That's out to neutral territory. Gonzalez has to retreat to Yao. This is into the protective netting, and now to stop the clock with 7 minutes on the dot.
Well, we mentioned Oli Venstrom and Tobias Ojic. Both are back in the lineup tonight up front. Cody Gibbs defensively, playing his second of the 4 games this season. He sat last Friday, he played Saturday. He sat last night, he plays tonight. So he's back in there. Tristan Mock is out tonight. He has 2 points in the first 3 games, but he's sitting tonight. Andrew Whalen is also a healthy scratch. And Daniel Amesbury, as we mentioned earlier, suspended after 30 penalty minutes last night. And so he is not in the lineup either for the Hat-Tricks.
I wouldn't be expecting Andrew Whalen to be sitting that often throughout the course of the season.
Not veteran guy, but, interesting. As the defense corps is coming together now, they asked a little less of him last night. Now that Kyle Gonzalez is here and he's up top with Johnny McDonald. So it kind of changed the flavor a little bit of the blue line getting Gonzalez in. And Whalen saw, probably a few fewer minutes in last night's game. And tonight, he is a healthy scratch.
And also, Billy McCreary has just plain old trusted Brendan Dowler a lot more. Here we go. Walks in. Save made. Rebounds. Is Dustin Jethro. How 6 goals to start the season.
Well, there's a breakdown there, and you don't want to have a breakdown defensively. You don't want to give that puck up when Dustin Gesso is on the ice. Gesso, he got stopped in the first one. Give credit to McVeigh. Mano a mano. McVeigh made the first save, but the puck came right back to Gesso, and at that point, McVeigh was down and out. And Dustin made no mistake into the back of the net. His league-leading 6th goal, his league-leading 13th point in the first 4 games this season.
An unbelievable start to the season for the Scarborough, Ontario native. That's an MVP type of pace that he is on in the early going.
It's an unreal pace is what it is.
He scored in every single game as Wilson covers up this puck. Just some talking, and the officials are very quick to jump in and make sure that we don't get any funny business.
Yeah, but Dustin Gesso, 2 goals on opening night against Delaware, and he hasn't stopped since. The 6-point game last Saturday, a 4-point game last night, and now he gets his 6th goal here in the first period.
The Gesso, Richards, and now Sheehan line is the top producing line on this team, as we've got a chance here for Lugo, spinning like a top into the slot shot, wide to the right. Pamaleon gets on top of this one. That was, we thought, going to be the strength of the line, and we still don't quite have the Ruiz line at full offensive production yet, though we're sure you're going to get there. But Gesso and Richards have been more than carrying it.
Yeah, no, you've gotten production up and down the lineup, and here's another guy that can score, dropping it to Ruiz Azojic.
Oh, boy. And Ruiz goes hard. Now we got some bad outs. Oh, boy. Here comes the physicality.
Yeah, and it's Pamaleon right in the middle of it. You see Pamaleon's down on the ice, and boy, Steve Leonard is incensed, trying to get 1 or 2 guys off of Pamaleon's back. And so the bad blood boiling over here, 14 minutes, 56 seconds into the first period.
Well, we knew it wasn't going to fully stay away. It had been a relatively straightforward game. And almost immediately, Tyson Kirkby is skating over. Now he's talking to Johnny Ruiz. They're trying to go. Now we got another tie-up. The mess is continuing in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, Johnny Ruiz was the only player that was not involved in that scrum. But as Kirkby skated to the penalty box, they started jawing at each other.
Boy, howdy, this has been entertaining, and being shunted away, Eric Oganezhov is hopping out. He's being sent to the locker room.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a misconduct. The third man in, he might have been ejected. We'll have to wait to find out. Pamaleon is currently in the hat trick penalty box, and he gets a fist bump there from Captain Johnny Ruiz.
Johnny McDonald's going over right now.
Now Johnny McDonald is going in.
Also, that corner's a full-on yard sale right now.
Yeah.
Glove sticks everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of equipment there.
Oh, boy, happy.
But, yeah, we're going to have to see what the call is. Again, you and I were both watching the play. Ruiz takes a slot shot from right wing. Puck goes up into the netting.
And we thought that was that.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you see out of the corner of your eye, gloves flying, coming off. And then we saw Pamaleon jump right into the middle of the mix.
Yeah, that was not that.
And now Zach Pamaleon just threw a stick out of the penalty box. Perhaps that belongs to a Binghamton Black Bear. Yeah, that's exactly the case.
Yeah.
Disgusted that Zach Pamaleon says,
"This isn't my stick.
That is not mine." Exactly.
Oh, boy, how this has been something. Good game. It's 2-1 in favor of the hometown hat tricks. They've looked really, really solid on the offensive side with their opportunities. Dustin Gesso with another goal. And for the first almost 15 minutes of this game, it was a pretty clear, clean, straightforward, regular old hockey game. And then, well, the tempers boiled over. It was one hit that blew it up, and we got a bit of, not quite a full-on line brawl, but close to it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was a simmering tinderbox is what it was before the game even started. So you knew that these guys don't like each other, and it's going to carry over from last night. And We get this with 5 minutes to go here in the first period. We should recap the go-ahead goal.
Yes.
Dustin Gesso at 13:55 is league leading the 6th goal of the season. Brendan Dowler and Zach Pamaleon picking up the assists of the two rookies, picking up points there.
I've been really impressed with how well Zach Pamaleon has handled himself. And he took a big check earlier on in this game as well. And he threw one as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's only 5'9", 159, and he's willing to use all of that size that God gave him.
Yeah, he really does. He does not shy away from anything. Give him a lot of credit, for getting right into the mix, putting his nose right in there. And then doing what he's really paid to do, and that's put up points. He now has 3 points in his first 4 games, a goal and 2 assists.
Also, a happy Halloween to everybody, as there will be no game on actual All Hallows Eve. And I just enjoy noting who the various costumed persons. We've got Vince Vaughn's character from the movie Dodgeball. I see an inflatable Kenny from South Park. I saw a Deadpool floating around because apparently Deadpool plays hockey now, and even had the personalized jersey with Deadpool on his back. There's a kid who was Thor, which is always popular, and then also an incentive to keep yourself in good physical condition so you can continue, being Thor.
And the kid that I passed by before that is dressed as the blind referee. He's got the dark glasses on, he's got the referee shirt on, and he's got the stick.
So I did that one year when I was at the U as they're assessing. They gave Pamaleon a major for 5 minutes, which will end with 4 seconds left to go in this period. I did that exact Halloween costume, sort of. I went to Boston University, so I was Bill Belichick with the rolled up, and I didn't actually cut my sleeves on my hoodie. I just rolled them. And one other person went as an official, and there is a picture on my Facebook profile of my friend being the blind ref and me as Coach Belichick yelling in disgust and frustration.
Nice.
I'm very happy about that one.
And all I can say about that is hopefully Bill Belichick and his team go down meekly tomorrow at Metro Stadium.
You are clearly not a Pats fan, but
they have lost 12 straight to the Patriots. Not to digress here as they're figuring out all the penalties. Not to digress, but
admittedly, we're filling time until we have more penalty information. All we got. Okay, so they've actually scaled down Pamaleon's major to a 2-minute minor.
Well, he probably got a fight, and maybe he was given the instigator.
So it'll be a 2-minute
or another, a different minor or whatever.
You have to send somebody else to go in and serve that for you. But you got to tack on your
Billy McCurley and Tyler Noseworthy and Stevie Brown are still kind of talking about things on the bench. And it looks like Ojic is going to serve the minor. And as he does, Ojic, before he gets to his own penalty box, he has a few words for Kirkby.
Oh, no, Ojic is not. He's just coming away.
Oh, yeah. He brought a towel, actually, over to Pamaleon.
By the way, so they've put the penalties up on the board. Oklin-Jolin is serving a 5-minute major penalty. Pamaleon,
he's been thrown out of the game.
He's been tossed from the game. So we're going to be skating 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes, and then we'll have a 3-minute extended power play for the hat tricks. Yep, we got 4 players out there for both sides, so ice will open up a little bit more here.
Yep.
Yeah, I was sandwiched into the boards. I'll get it free for Richards. Binghamton. We'll send this one up and behind their own net, looking for somewhere forward to go with it. Holding and looking. Off the outstretched stick of Jesse Anderson, who's been flying all night. I've actually really liked watching Jesse Anderson for Binghamton.
It's a good player.
Dowler will run it forward. Drops it in the offensive corner. Takes the hit. Sits in the middle of his skates. Sticks with it. Gets it up to the point. Playing Dowler almost as though he's a forward. And he's got the speed and he's been able to show that he can play the forward spot. Yeah, throwing his weight around against the guy who just plays Jesse Anderson. Gains the line does Gesso. Looking for more offense because some is good, more is better. as far as scoring goals is concerned. Back comes D'Angelo. Dances around her. Pardon me, it's Parker. Shot save made by Wilson. He'll cover it up. And we're down to 49 seconds left to go on this 4-on-4 skating session. We're going to take a quick breather. Hop back in just a second from the Danbury Ice Arena here on the Danbury Patrick's YouTube channel. Back in a second. Three minutes, 53 seconds left to go here in the first period of regulation time. The Hat-Tricks lead tonight's game 2-1, and they're about to go on an extended 3-minute long power play for the Fighting Major.
After Pamelaon's instigator penalty, and it's not 5 minutes for fighting. I mean, that had to be a major penalty, of which Organizov, I can't even pronounce his name, took and was ushered to the dressing room. So it had to be a major in a game misconduct for him. We just didn't get word on what that major is for.
10 seconds left to go on the 4-on-4 skating time. Good poke by Kodiak White Duck. Pass too far forward for Sheehan. Not far enough to be icing. Walters backtracked and was able to get there. All right, so Johnny McDonald was in the penalty box and serving the 2-minute minor for Pamelaon. Pamelaon has stayed out there. So Pamelaon was actually the only hat trick to come away with a penalty in that situation. Now feed it across for Ruiz. We've got a whistle. Stop and play. We've got an interference penalty upcoming. It's going against the Hat-Tricks. Brendan Sheehan is hopping out to the box. And just like that, they killed off their opportunity for an extended power play.
There's a lot going on here. I'm trying to decipher and trying to find out what penalties were called and assessed, but that's a tough penalty right there. In the offensive zone, you're on the power play, and that will pretty much negate the rest of the power play for the Hat-Tricks, assuming that, nothing scored here. Yeah, it would be, Danbury would get another 39 seconds of a power play.
That's not no time, but it's not 3 minutes.
You're right. I mean, obviously, it wipes out most of this power play. So stuff comes back to Danbury's end to the right of Wilson.
2-1. Ruiz trying to poke this out. Kept in by Regala. Looks for the redirect in front. Tried to set up Anderson. Didn't quite connect. Leonard carried out to neutral. Dowler's out there. Leonard's going to give chase. Rockaway Park, New York native. There's snow against the end boards. Yao keeps it at that point. Ruiz settles it directly onto the awaiting stick of Regala. Anderson. Forward. Knocked down by Yao. 2-on-2. Back come the Hat-Tricks. Yao and Leonard. Yao holds up. Wants to throw it in front. Leonard. It's tipped away from him by Jake Schultz, the big, powerful defenseman for Binghamton. Flipped out to neutral by Anderson. Yao retreats. Dowler receives. And we're down to under 2 minutes left to go. A minute left to go on this 4-on-4 skating session. The puck will find its way out of bounds. We've got a minute 42 left. 2-1 Danbury in the lead.
And Peach Wave of Bethel is located on Greenwood Avenue. Peach Wave is your place to go for a quality treat. Yogurt and toppings, it doesn't get much better. Catch a wave, a peach one, at Peach Wave of Bethel.
I live over in West Hartford, and I keep begging for them to put a peach wave in Blueback Square. I think the best town square setup of any place in Connecticut, and we still need a peach wave. Off the sideboards, carried forward, lost it for a moment. Donald has to just gather it up. Denied. Kept in at the point. Lewis will whip this one off the side, off the corner boards. Donald throws a check. Puck springs free. Mac Lewis fills in, picks the puck up, looks for a passing partner. A little bit too far for Boilard. Shot circles across. That's a goal. That's a goal. That found its way across the line. Wilson had no idea where it was. This is going to count. That's going to tie the hockey game.
Boy, a bad angle goal there. Looks like Mathieu Boilard is the one that got it. He was pretty much right along the goal line on a right wing, and he just zipped it along the goal line. And the puck actually probably deflects over and just over the goal line off of Wilson. So we're going to check out the replay here.
It eats him up. It just barely trickles over, but that's clearly in.
Yeah, he was caught off guard there. Boilard, took a shot from the bad angle, took a chance, and he's got himself a 4-on-4 goal, and we are tied at 2 apiece.
Oh, boy, howdy. I guarantee you that they're going to take Billy LeClaire is going to take a look at that. He's not going to be happy about that turning into a goal. That's a hard shot. Give him credit for being able to put it up on the board and tie the game up. And that's a wise decision by pretty much any offensive player. If you can, put the puck on net and make the goalie make a play, because it could fall in.
Yep, absolutely. He just zipped it in front, and he caught the goalie off guard. Now we've got ourselves a tie game. We remain 4-on-4 for 5 more seconds.
Springs across the middle. Yao tries to get behind the defense. The stick comes out of his hands. That'll stop time. And we've got a slashing minor called with 40 seconds left. This is going to be 36 seconds of 5-on-3 skating. That's a terrible penalty to take if you are Binghamton. Specifically, that's JT Walters who's going to go off into the penalty box. That's a bad penalty to take, because it's the dying seconds of the period. You just scored a goal, and now you're giving away a 5-on-3 opportunity.
Yeah, 5-on-3, and, it's a great way to end the period and then maybe get that, the second penalty carry over, into the start of the second period with a fresh sheet of ice. But give credit to Yao.
Yeah.
Head of steam, blows past, the opposition. And, he kind of forces the mistake there, forces the penalty to be taken.
He's a defenseman, by the way.
Yeah, it was some neat skating there by Yao as Binghamton here clears the zone.
That's a fortunate bounce over. Johnny Ruiz's stick slaloms through the neutral zone, gains the attacking end. Gordy Bonnell will set this up. They've only got 25 seconds to work with, so they can't bruise too long. Leonard to the circle for Ruiz. Shot save made. Ruiz gets his own rebound. Fan puts it back up to the right side. 15 seconds left to go. Winds up. 8 seconds left on the 5-on-3. Ruiz shoots it. That's blocked and cleared away. Wilson is going to skate up, look to clear it. Didn't get a lot on the pass. Leonard goes, circle. Do they have enough time for a shot? No, they don't. We're going to go into first intermission, knotted up at 2 goals apiece in a period where I'm sure both teams are actually going to look at this as kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah, and it had a weird vibe to it the way it ended. The game is kind of going along, as you called it, just straight ahead hockey. It's clearly Binghamton has more jump tonight than they had last night. I liked what I saw for the most part out of the period from each team. But then it got a little disjointed. You kind of had the melee. Then as they were sorting out the penalties, there was a lot of standing around and just a weird vibe to close out the period. But it ends up on a high note for Binghamton because they get the tying goal late with under a minute to go, and then they kill off the front part of the 5-on-3. So now hat-tricks will still have a minute 19 remaining on a 5-on-4 to open up the second period. But again, Binghamton's got to feel good. All right, we survived the 5-on-3, and we got the tying goal there. So here we go, 2-2 heading into the first intermission.
Good bunch of kids are taking the ice. One kid came as a member of the. Wait a minute, the Western Colonials? That's not a costume. That's a team in this building. I see Kenny. I see Deadpool. I see the Grim Reaper. I see what is.
Most importantly, I see a kid dress up as Elvis.
Oh, that kid has style, and I love it.
He's my favorite.
Look at how creative this. I see somebody walking out there as a ghost with some suit. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, we can't describe it. It's hard to describe.
You can see it on your camera right now. It's the guy who literally has no head, but is still clearly walking. That's so funny. So listen,
Chris Lynch is amused.
Yes, I'm very. Jim Cerny is amused too.
I am amused. That might be the most creative of the costumes there.
Yes.
My favorite is still the little kid who has the Elvis like circa 1973 Las Vegas look going.
That's good. I hope he doesn't have the. I hope he's got all the songs and all the moves as well.
He has no idea who Elvis was.
Maybe if his parents educated him well.
Yeah. Clearly the parents had a say-so in that outfit. And I'm sure the coaches are having their say-so now in between periods. Because after 2, we've got ourselves a 2-2 tie.
We'll take a breather, hop back when the second period begins with a couple more notes and observations at the next opportunity. Thank you for enjoying the first period of the FPHL tonight with us here in Danbury, Connecticut. We've got 2 more periods to go and plenty more still to be said about this year hockey game. And a longer intermission coming to a conclusion. Everybody enjoyed the Halloween costumes, and now we can get into the second period between the Black Bears and Hat Tricks. And that was an interesting first period, to say the very least. Coach Lynch and Jim Cerny here on the call with you this evening from the Danbury Ice Arena. And Jim, that first period, you put it perfectly. It had a weird vibe.
Yeah, weird vibe. More so the latter part of it and the beginning part of it. But, at the end of the day, after 20 minutes, we're tied 2-2.
Yep.
And, Binghamton, Danbury still has, Binghamton still has a power play opportunity here. Danbury's got the power play opportunity. I'm getting it all locked out of control.
That's okay. There's still 40-ish seconds left on a power play as they're going to put.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Binghamton has the wrong number of players on the ice right now.
It's on the ice.
That's not correct.
Walters took a penalty at 19:19.
And there was no goal scored on it. And so the Hat Tricks are pointing this out right now. They have too many players on the ice.
Gordy Bonnell, Johnny Ruiz saying what's going on. And now Vashkin is heading off the ice. So the weirdness continues. Maybe an early Halloween vibe coming to Danbury Arena tonight.
I mean, people are basically treating the whole weekend as Halloween. We're already in costumes, so that's kind of par for the course at this point. Okay, they've just put the penalty back on the clock. It's 1:19 left on the penalty for JT Walters. So that is some real time for the Hat Tricks to get a goal on the power play. Haven't gotten one yet on the advantage. Technically 0 for 2. They lost out on an attempted on what ended up being a shortened power play opportunity earlier on in the frame. Turnover taken as the puck is dropped. We're underway. Shoots it high left side just over the stick side of Brian Wilson. Good rush. One opportunity for Josh Newberg. Hat Tricks looking to go. Denied entry. They have to get back on sides. Mission accomplished. But now to Leonard. Ruiz steps up. He tried to put it barred down and sailed it too high. They want Ruiz again. Wanted to center it. Picked off. Not quite out. Good positioning by Gonzalez to keep that in the attacking end. 30 seconds left on the power play. Blocked off the skate of D'Angelo. They want it in front. Didn't have the look. Ruiz steps in, shoots it, flubs the shot. Probably blocked a bit as well by Yarwood. They'll work this one around the right side to the circle. Steps in, looks with a shot save made. Rebounded to a plate to an empty spot.
5 seconds to go.
Final 5 seconds. Shot blocked it aside before it ever got on McVeigh in net. But now, shot to the side. The penalty is expired, and back come the Black Bears. D'Angelo will just leave it, and they'll hop off with some tired penalty killers. Yeah, that's the one thing that you might be a little bit concerned about for the Hat Tricks is that at points the power play has looked not quite fully connected. They got some good looks, but just couldn't finish them off.
Yeah, they haven't been sharp on the power play. And speaking of the power play, Binghamton now will head to the power play, minute 46 into the second period as Dustin Gesso heads to the box.
Well, it hasn't been quite the physical affair that we thought we might get. It's been entertaining to say the very least throughout the course, but a straight-up hockey game for big parts of it. Shots 11-10 in favor of the Hat Tricks. And I think the score from last night was the most surprising thing about it. A 4-goal difference between these two teams. I don't think we expected Danbury to jump off to the hot start. They did. Big blast from the right spot. Yarwood shot deflected aside. They'll walk it in. Drops it for Anderson. Swaps spots with him. Shot saved by Wilson. Flutters to the corner. Kept in. Goal line extended. Dropped to Kirkby. Worked off the puck by Yao. A more offensive-minded defenseman, but everybody on the Hat Tricks is willing to make the right defensive play. Sticked aside by Wilson. Wellwood. And Anderson. Real good physical battle right in front of the net. Dowler and Mac Lewis. 1:15 left on the Binghamton power play. Shot on nifty glove save by Wilson.
Yeah, good shot through the screen. You talked about it, how Lewis was setting the screen up front. Kirkby was down there as well. Binghamton, a lot of offensive zone time there. Just didn't do a lot with it. And they finally crank it on net. Wilson with the glove save. Binghamton 1 for 1 on the power play so far tonight.
Black Bears win the draw. They'll settle up as they desire. Kirkby interrupted. Nice effort. Good play by Sheehan to get it out into the opposite end of the rink. A minute left to go on the power play for Binghamton. And throws a check afterwards, does Sheehan. St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin native. Bunnell gets on top of this, and that's going to blow the play dead. They were calling it for an offside?
Yep, that's a super delayed offside right there.
Why did they call it so rigid?
Well, I guess they were giving Binghamton a chance to get back on side.
Because they hadn't actually touched the puck yet until...
Yeah, and they didn't, right. They just kept hounding Bunnell, and so they just called the offside. 45 seconds to go, or 45 seconds remaining on the Gesso hooking penalty, which came a minute 46 into the second period.
Puck is down. Binghamton's done a good job in the early going frame of winning draws and getting possessions. Wilson will settle it. Tries to throw it off the boards around the dasher. Needs some help. They'll get a face-off.
And, of course, Jesse Anderson, we talked about this last night. He is the go-to guy on the power play for Binghamton so far this season. He leads the FPHL with 3 power play goals already this season. 3 of his 5 goals coming on the man advantage.
16:45 the time remaining. It's worth noting that Danbury doesn't have their timeout to use later on in the game. They burned it in the first period on a situation basically like this one where they tried to draw up in a special team situation. Backhand in front, loose puck. Did Wilson cover it? The whistle blows. And what do we got? Do we have a goal? Do we have a no goal? They have not signaled yet. I don't think we're going to get a goal for Binghamton. I think Wilson covered that.
Yeah, it looked like Wilson again. We're far away here. And that's down at the other end of the ice. And indeed, it will be a face-off in the hat-trick's end with 22 seconds remaining on the power play for Binghamton. Wilson just sprawled out. He's a big guy, and he could cover a lot of that net, even laying down. And he was able to glove that puck as it was trickling towards the net.
Slides side to side has very good positioning, and you think that shot's blocked aside. You might think it's easier to have good positioning if you're a big guy. You're just big, but it still takes a great amount of awareness and presence, and he certainly has that. Pamelaon in pursuit. Binghamton's going to have only 5 seconds. This is going to be a penalty against Danbury. And now we got fisticuffs flying. Yeah, trading punches and taken down.
It looks like
Baylard. Yeah. With 2 seconds left. 2 seconds left on the Gesso penalty, and oh boy, Binghamton's got a man down, and he is hurt.
Yeah, so what happens here is Yao goes for the hip check, and he kind of misses the hip.
Yeah.
And there is contact there, and he also throws out his shoulder, might have thrown out his leg as well, no matter what. Sends his man hurtling down to the ice. And was that Ivashkin? Yeah, it's Ivashkin, and he's able to kind of limp his way back to the bench. He is shaken up, but he is staying on the bench right now.
He hit the ice hard.
Yeah, he spun off Yao, and he went to the ice hard, no question about it. Now the question is going to be, what was the initial penalty on Yao? And then you know that he and Boiler are going to get fighting majors,
yep.
But is Boiler also going to get the instigator because he came flying in there at Yao after the play? So we'll have to see how they suss these out.
Yeah, this is another complicated situation. Let's take a quick breather. We'll hop back in a second and give time for the penalties to get back upstairs. We're watching the FPHL on the Danbury Ice Arena here on the Danbury Hat-Tricks YouTube channel. Don't go too far away.
Well, Chris Litchfield Distillery is the spirit of hard work. The Bachelors of Litchfield Distillery, in honor of the early farmers of Northwest Connecticut, present to you the locally made Litchfield Distillery bourbon, vodka, and gin. Grab it at the rabbit hole and hoist the barrel with the hat tricks.
I'm sure that everybody could use a visit from our friends at Litchfield Distillery. And did they not issue a penalty at all? It was just the fighting majors for Yao and Boilar. So that's it. And we're back to 5-on-5 skating time after all of that. I guess they're going to say it was a hit gone awry. No dirty intentions behind it, just a hard hit. Danbury in the attacking end, circle shot, save made. Okay, so no additional penalties, just back to 5-on-5 hockey.
So here are the penalties. Yao got 2 minutes for the trip.
Okay.
So that was the original penalty, and then the 5-minute major for fighting.
Gotcha.
Boilar, as I thought, got 2 for instigating.
Because he screamed across to try and start the fight.
There was no doubt he was the instigator there.
Yeah.
And 5 minutes for fighting. So that's a 3:44 in the penalties, and skating 5-on-5.
Really? We won't see any of those guys for the next 7 minutes or longer if we're not able to get them back out onto the ice. But still, no power plays for either side. Just you two have to sit in timeout, and everyone else gets to go play and have fun. It's actually one of my favorite Stan Mikita stories I heard, where he took a lot of penalties early in his career as Binghamton will pick this one up and flip it out. His daughter asked him why his uncle, here's a chance for Binghamton, walks in, backhand, save made by Wilson, and goodness, he made that look easy. So smooth.
Well, Tyson Kirkby got behind the hat-trick defense, and he was in all alone, took the home run pass over the blue line, skated in from the left wing, cut to the middle, went to the backhand, and boy, Brian Wilson played that real smoothly. He was very, very calm, and he stayed right with the shooter, and he makes a nifty glove save.
Wow. Underratedly, I said at the top of this broadcast, the story that I didn't think got enough coverage was Wilson's strong performance. But now, shot, blocker, save, rebound is loose. Binghamton will set themselves up for an exit. Chipped. This is going to be nice and waved off. Cody Gibbs retreating. He'll get back and win the race to the puck. Beats out Gavin Abbott there for it. Flipped high, kept in by Binghamton. Black Bears on the prowl. Walked aside by Wilson. Sitting at the side of the cage. Stumbles over. Hard block by Bonnell. Not showing up on the score sheet, but he's showing up in a whole bunch of places, like blocking shots and keeping pucks out of his own net. 14:24 remaining here in the second period. We're not even at 2 goals apiece. Running forward, they wanted the center for Ojic. Didn't quite have him on the pass from Leonard. Still pursuing. Good effort by Leonard to keep the puck in the attacking end. Tries to backhand it forward. Ojic throws the check, misses the player, and hits the glass. Lugo threw it across. He was trying to feed it in to Kyle Gonzalez. First 6 minutes gone by here. This will be flipped down, and that is an icing.
And those Binghamton players have been out there for a while. And they're heading for the change. And they're going to have to get back out on the ice. And Billy McCreary is yelling at the officials, and he's pointing. Ivashkin tried to slide out onto the ice to say, well, I was one of the guys. I was actually one of the guys that was on the bench.
Yes, he was.
It's not the case.
We'll put the Bruder hop back this second from the Danbury Ice Arena. Back in a moment.
So, yeah, and the Binghamton Black Bears catch a break here.
Yes.
In the fact that the officials were confused about what, I don't know. But meanwhile, all those guys that were out there that went to the bench, they're back out there, but they also just got about a 45-second rest. before the puck is dropped, and Billy McCreary is not happy. But Binghamton, their bench, they're not happy either.
Oh, they have to. Oh, they didn't even have everybody out there correctly.
Yeah.
They have to send Brett Parker and Gavin Abbott back out. And some of the Danbury fans are also not happy.
Okay, but again, they had their rest. It's almost like a normal shift.
They did exactly what they needed to do. So,
wow, what a mess.
Okay, Tobias Ojic in the corner, trying to muck and grind, skips over Pamela on stick off the glass and out. So find its way down, and we'll get a whistle for another icing. And I don't think Binghamton is going to do the same thing a second icing in a row.
Yeah, well, they're trying to. They're trying to get somebody out there. And Billy McCreary is like, let's go. Let's get down the ice. You're letting Binghamton, all these guys are resting, lolling their way back. And Billy's really giving it to the officials because they're not speeding things up to get back down the ice. And they get Binghamton in position.
Billy is a relatively mild-mannered guy.
Billy is a pretty intense guy in the bench.
When not doing hockey stuff, Billy's pretty easy going. So, Nick makes it and makes it 3-2 for the Hat-Tricks. Okay.
Well, Tobias Ojic goes to the net after the face-off. He goes to win after the second straight icing by Binghamton, and he's able to collect the rebound and slip it past McVeigh as we take a look at where we just had the replay there. Go to the net. Good things happen when you go to the net.
Good things always happen when you go to the net. Oh, boy. We got a hard hit.
Ole Venstrom.
Yeah. We got a man down. This is going to be a boarding penalty and a nice scrum where we can deliberate about this.
Jacob Walters absorbed the hit, and Ole Venstrom, who's only played a few shifts in his hat-tricks debut, is going to head to the box, and he's trying to plead his case right now.
And it's going to be 2 minutes for boarding, and that's mere seconds after the hat-tricks just got the lead. That's a tough penalty to take. Johnny Ruiz barking at the officials as well. He doesn't agree with that ruling either, or exactly that call. He's actually going to stay out there and go kill this penalty.
Yeah, I would say that's a good idea.
Yeah. Ruiz, Leonard, McDonald, and Gonzalez out there for the hat-tricks. And, of course, Wilson's still in net. Backup goalie for tonight is Parker Butler. Pickup from UMass Dartmouth. First 10 seconds gone by. Binghamton just getting himself set up. Blast off the glass. I'll send this one partway around the dasher as they're announcing the scoring for the Ojic goal. And Dowler gets another assist. Shot on wide off the end board. Puck skitters away and cleared into the Binghamton bench. Not quite over the glass, so it's not a delay of game penalty, but, heads on a swivel, everyone.
You better believe it. Well, that one got zipped into the bench pretty quickly there. Yeah. Schultz kind of just leaned out of the way. Schultz is like a real tall guy, even sitting down, and he just had to lean out of the way, make sure he didn't get beamed by that one. But the bad thing for Danbury is faceoff comes right back in their own end.
Yeah, they win it. Well, at least clear it up to the point. Here's a break. Here's a chance. Brendan Sheehan coming downhill. Shoots it. Blocker to side before it ever got on net. That's a good bit of defensive work by Cameron Yarwood to get back there. And he's still in pursuit. Dowler shot. Save made. Still pursuing. And that's two good shots and good looks for the hat-tricks while short-handed. Binghamton back to the offensive end of the rink. We're now under a minute to go. 51 seconds to be exact on the power play. And yep, they're announcing it was a boarding minor against Venstrom. Up top, rounds up, shot circle, save made, and cleared away by Sheehan.
Yeah, I don't even know that got through to Wilson.
I think it
was rocked in front and a good clear.
Binghamton working to try and get offensive positioning. Hard hit, good hit by Kodiak White Duck. 20 seconds left, actually now 15 seconds left on the power play. Wants the redirect in front, sent it too far aside. Gets the bounce, sprinting ahead. Lugo can't quite get there. Good poke by Brett Parker to clear that aside.
Boy, Lugo already has a shorthanded goal in this one. He was almost off to the races again.
Binghamton still with some offensive momentum. They'll chase it deep into the offensive corner. 11-11 left. Wraparound shot, not there. Save made by Wilson. Flipped up, skied into Binghamton territory.
Venstrom was out. Yeah, he's out of the box.
The penalties are done. Dowler, who got an assist on the Ojic goal. He's the guy who shot it for Ojic. Shoveled it in. Here we go. Ojic. Shot stop. It's 4-2 Danbury.
Well, another defensive breakdown by Binghamton, and that was a 2-on-none.
Wow. That's a great pass across, a great setup. I don't know what more we could hope for out of there like that.
Listen, a tough spot for McVay. It's a 2-on-none, and his guys are, chasing, the two hat tricks there. Ojic's got the puck. He's coming down right wing, and McVay played the shot, and instead the pass went to the middle, and Leonard is able to finish it off.
And after missing Ojic last night, we're wondering how exactly we're going to fit him in, especially with Sheehan performing so well as Wilson's going to cover this puck up. He performs fine. Tobias Ojic, turns out, good player.
Yeah, well, we knew that already, and, he's coming through here for them. Again, he's got the goal, he's got the assist here in the second period, giving them a spark and some life and a 2-goal lead, most importantly.
That's a good offensive sequence for the hat tricks. You got a couple of good shots on that penalty kill. And you were killing the Venstrom penalty as this skips over the blue line, so they have to retreat.
Yeah, so you carry some momentum, You do a good job on the penalty kill, get some scoring chances, and then you get 5-on-5 and a busted play, bad defense by Binghamton, and you take advantage of it on the 2-on-none.
Leonard and Gesso out there. Gesso tries to feed it across. It's intercepted by Jesse Anderson. Leonard out there for it. No penalty whistled after the hit. White Duck had a packet keeping this one in. Leonard at the goal line extended. Retreats to the half boards. Up top. Steps around. Nice moves by Cody Gibbs. Drops the puck to the circle. Brendan Sheehan knifing his way through. Runs into the end boards. Gibbs does as well. 4 players engaged in the battle. Binghamton comes away with it. Specifically, JT Walters. Floated up. Played down. Thought that was going to be ruled a hand pass. It isn't. Circle. Blocker save made. Rebound. Whiffed on the shot. Did Gesso. And Binghamton's going to get it out and carry it. Drop pass. And he wanted to get it on. In charge of his stick. Or Jurich. Set, shot, not there. Ojic looking for what would have been his 3rd point of the night.
Yeah, Sheehan and Ojic creating a 2-on-1 opportunity down low. Good look by Sheehan, good shot by Ojic, and a good right pad save by McVay.
We wonder how exactly we got a 2-on-0 opportunity here. Ojic, shot, save, hand, pass right into the glove of... Wow, right into the glove of McVay. With that, we're going to take a quick breather. Hop back in a second from the Danbury Ice Arena here on the Danbury Hat Tricks YouTube channel.
Well, Chris, if you want the best milkshake ever and you want to taste greatness, head to Holiday Diner because they have a feast on their menu. They have the greatest milkshake ever. Holiday Diner is on White Street here in Danbury. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner with George and the crew.
Had one of their absolutely fabulous cookies and cream milkshake and a bacon, egg, and cheese burger. Over there.
I am all over that.
Fried egg on top of nice crisp bacon and a good burger. I want to go over there right now, but we have a hockey game to call. Patrick's lead this one 4-2. Lugo in pursuit of the puck. Ojic was turned out really to be the player of the game, or one of the guys in contention for it to this point. Pursuing it as well. Binghamton will get this out. Left around by Gino D'Angelo, and Danbury will continue pursuing it. Sits in the corner, wants to center it. Kept in at the point, knocked down. Sits on the center ice logo. 2-on-1 opportunity. D'Angelo, nice, great save by Wilson. He's made a couple of brilliant saves and slides across to deny a good Binghamton chance.
Yeah, that was his best save right there. That ended up being a 2-on-1 down low for Binghamton. Ivashkin looked to be all alone, looked like he had the back of the net, and Wilson slid over and made the save.
Another chance out in front. Wilson's made a couple of those saves where it looks just so smooth and so easy. This shot will be blocked out of bounds, and blocked out of bounds off of the stretch defenseman's stick. I think that was Kirkby who got a piece of it.
But Ivashkin, he's a goal scorer. He scored 50-odd goals last season for Binghamton, and man, he had a lot of net there. But Wilson really just got over in a heartbeat and stacked the pads, made the save. Really good job by Brian Wilson.
Shot wide to the right. That's a good run on an attempt by Cody Gibbs. Kirkby took a hack at it. Binghamton will get it out of their own end. Thought about the home run pass, did Kirkby. Didn't have it, so they'll just have to play it soft. Patrick will retreat. Ruiz trying to get on the scoreboard. Cuts around one defender. Goes to the circle. Shot. Tried to go stick side. Sailed it a bit high and wide. Back comes Binghamton. Anderson dips around. Backhands it to empty space. 3-on-2 the other way for the hat-trick. Ruiz again. Leonard on his right hip. Blocked away. Good diving effort by Kirkby to interrupt. And that'll stop the clock. We're going to have a penalty. It's just a hand pass. Okay, just a regular old hand pass.
Boy, great effort by Kirkby.
Yeah.
Binghamton there, twice coming back into the play, hustling to get back into the play to disrupt what the hat-tricks were trying to do offensively. He went down to the ice that time after hustling back.
You can tell Binghamton is probably going to get better across the course of the season after this weekend, and they are going to be a real force to be reckoned with in the division.
Yeah, but again, they got to get healthy. Missing 3 key guys out of their lineup tonight.
Gesso absorbs the punishment. Chipped down by McDonald. Shoved into the end boards. 4 players engaged. The puck is still. 5th player joins in. Binghamton, Danbury comes away with this one. Gesso to the point. McDonald retreats. Has it right on the blue line, but not over. To get this one out is Abbott. It'll trickle away. And here they come with some speed. Mac Lewis, circle. Off line. Backhands it across the open goal. Now too far for Abbott to redirect it in. All right, tipped. Just barely misses the protective netting. Wanted the wraparound. Couldn't get it to his backhand with Mac Lewis. Lewis falls down. Can't keep it at the point. JT Walters. 5:35, the time remaining here in the second period. 2 goals for the Danbury hat-tricks here in the frame. That is the difference in this game. Richards had to wait for that one to fall out of the sky. Binghamton trying to get this out. They'll send it deep, but Jared Yow's the only player there for it, and he plays for the other team. Sits on the red line. Tipped. Still in pursuit was Sheehan. It's kind of a sloppy back and forth here. Carries on to the circle. Tumbling down was Dowler. Across. That eats up the awaiting stick of Ivashkin. Shot. That hit metal. And the official blows the play dead. They're not ruling it as a goal. We're going to take a breather and come back in a little bit. Brief pause back in a second from the Danbury Ice Arena on the Danbury Hat Tricks YouTube channel. We thought we were going into immediate timeout. We are not, so we're just going to keep talking about this here hockey game. Clean face-off win by Kirkby, but in no man's land, so Binghamton will just have to regroup and try again. Settled at the blue line, walks this in. The circle tipped aside. We've got a penalty coming up. It's going against Danbury.
That's going to be Dowler heading to the box.
Goal is off, so they've got the extra attacker out there. Shoots it. Wilson with the save. Danbury has possession, and so we now get to see another opportunity for Binghamton to cut into this lead with another power play. And this is one of the strongest pieces of the Danbury team has been their penalty kill across the course of the season.
Yep, but Binghamton does have a power play goal tonight.
Yep.
But of course, that was negated by the fact that Danbury had a shorthanded goal on the same power play. So it's kind of evened up at one apiece, if you will, on that power play. But Dowler will go to the box with 4:26 remaining here in the second period. And the Hat Tricks leading 4-2. And Amina's Alterations is Danbury's expert tailors, located just down the road from the arena. Over 31 years, locally owned and operated. The official stitcher of the Danbury Hat Tricks. They bend, they hem, they repair, they zip it. Check out AminasAlterations.com. And for a comfortable stay with great amenities, the only choice is La Quinta by Wyndham right here in Danbury. As for the Hat Tricks friends and family rate, you can't beat it. La Quinta.
Yeah, they do a good job of taking care of all of our people. And by the way, a busy weekend here at the Danbury Ice Arena. All three teams in actions across the course of the weekend. The NAHL team played the Maine Nordiques twice. The NA3 team will be playing tomorrow against the Norwich Sea Captains. And the Pro team is playing the second of their two games. And then, of course, next week, everybody's on the road. Go figure. All right, Binghamton tries to cut their way through the neutral zone. Kirkby will just leave it deep. They have to chase this one out. Ruiz and Gibbs in pursuit. And the backhand, not quite out. Pinching and driving and shooting. That goes over Wilson. Shots are even at 17 apiece. This has been by far the lowest shot total that the Hat Tricks have had throughout the course of the young season. It's not close. Every other game they've had 40-plus shots. Wind up big, booming blast. Knocked down.
Good right pad save by Wilson.
Ruiz can't get this one out. Binghamton regroups. Cuts this one right. Across the circle and scores. That's just a perfectly executed tic-tac-toe power play goal to make it 4-3 with 3:26 left. Durkic got it.
I think that's Jesse Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson got it, yeah.
Yeah, Jesse Anderson, team high 6th goal. In fact, he ties just Dustin Gesso for the league lead in goal scoring. That is his 4th power play goal already in 6 games this season. He leads the league in that category. It was left wide open, bottom of the left circle. Some good passing there, tic-tac-toe, right onto his stick. And Wilson tried to go left to right to get across the crease, but he had no chance. And it's now a 1-goal game.
That's the 2nd power play goal as we're waiting for a center to come out for Binghamton. Before this game, the first 3 of the season, the Hat Tricks had allowed 1 power play goal on 12 attempts. They've gone 11 for 12 in successful penalty kills. Tonight, they've given up 2 power play goals. They've they've increased it from 1 to 3, tripling their power play goals let up already. So that's kind of a tough look.
So Juric is the guy that made the pass, the good cross-seam pass there. He picks up the primary assist, and the secondary assist will go to defenseman Cam Yarwood. So Anderson is 6 from Juric and Yarwood. Power play goal at 16:34, and the hat-trick lead is now 4-3.
3:07 left to go, and now trickling under 3 minutes to play here in the second period. It's a 1-goal game. Lugo shot blocked aside and high into the protective netting. They're announcing the scoring across the public address system. Joe does a good job on the public address mic here. Did a very good job in the junior game earlier on today. The welcoming Patrick Fournette, who is the backup in the Fed games and the primary guy in the junior games for that.
He's feeling a little ill, and so I'm sure Patrick is following tonight's game and hope he's feeling better.
Shot, save made, loose puck, and covered up.
So feel well, Patrick. Get back soon.
We miss you, and we very much love having you around. I'm sure that our Giants fan friend, Patrick, is very much looking forward to the weekend's action.
Yeah, he's going to stay home and take that one in for sure.
Almost as much as, well, a Patriots fan and a Jets fan call a game together. Their teams play.
Yeah.
This Patriots fan doesn't feel that good about his team right now. To the circle, walks it, shoots it. Save made by McVeigh. Shoved off the puck. Good physical attack by Gesso. Shot, save made. On the attempt by Sheehan.
And now Gesso Walters start jawing at each other, pushing each other. And you know what? That's a heady, mature play right there by Luke Richards, 21-year-old rookie. He comes darting in from the left side to throw his arms around Gesso and drag Gesso out of there.
Yep.
Last thing that the hat-tricks need is Gesso going to the box or Gesso getting into a fight. And now Gesso is jawing once again with Walters. I really like that. That's a lot of poise, a lot of maturity shown by one of the youngest guys on the roster in Luke Richards.
You wrote a great story about him that is on the Danbury Hat-Tricks website. You can go read if you want to find out Jim Cerny's great insight. His Ruiz's shot is stopped and sent aside. He's a very mature young man, and he's we're going to get a boarding penalty here against Stephen Leonard. Josh Newberg took the hit, went straight down, and just as soon as I'm saying good things about Luke Richards, we have to say, unfortunately, another penalty taken by the Hat-Tricks, and Binghamton, who has had success on their power play tonight, gets another one.
Yeah, so Stephen Leonard will take the penalty in the offensive zone. It's going to be a boarding penalty, I would assume, at 17:45. Binghamton is 2 for 4 on the man advantage, and it's a 1-goal game here, so huge power play for Binghamton, huge penalty kill for Danbury.
Wilson has faced 21 shots. The shots are only 21-19. This has been a very, very low shooting game. Net open and sounded. Did that go in? No, how did Wilson make that save? How? The net was wide open.
This time Wilson goes from right to left through traffic. He saw that shot from Anderson, who whipped it from the right circle, and Wilson was able to gobble it up. That is a heck of a save.
Well, we keep thinking he's made his best save. That one was his best save.
That was pretty darn good.
Up to the blue line for Wellwood, to the circle. Shot, shunted aside. Anderson with the shot blocked away. Muscling for it. Jurich. Ruiz on it. Tried to clear, couldn't get control of it. Puck sits. Where is it? Oh, boy, look at that ball, boy.
Laying on his stomach.
He was down and
trying to get that puck.
And then eventually just had to get up. Because if you're down, that net is much more open, especially when the puck comes back out and the defenseman has more room.
He's playing without his stick right now.
Yeah, they gotta figure that out. Puck comes to the opposite side, and he'll go over and get his stick. That's badly needed. Binghamton regroups pretty quickly. Crosswind passing. Save made by Wilson. He's turning into the story here. 25 shots faced through 2 periods. He's making some brilliant saves.
Yeah, he's had himself a good period. You know, the one goal against was the power play goal where Anderson was wide open. How much he could have done on that one. And how about Kirkby, man? Every time there's something going on, who's sticking his nose in there? It's Kirkby of Binghamton. And the one thing I really like about his game, he gets to the net. He is constantly in the goalie's face. He's constantly right around the blue paint.
Yeah.
He's the guy that's willing to set up the screen and do all the dirty work. Really impressed with Kirkby.
1:14 left to go here in the second period. We've got 58 seconds left on the penalty against Stephen Leonard. Puck is down. Schultz trying to work this one towards the net. Left up on the left side, walking it. Willard locked and out of play.
Great stick by Jessup.
He's such an active player. Still harassing at the opposite end of the rink as well. You love guys who can score, and you're not afraid to let your leading scorer be out there at the 200-foot end of the ice, the opposite side.
What a great penalty kill by him.
Blocked, save made, another good one by Wilson, another good one by Wilson, another one by Wilson. 3 consecutive good saves, and we're now down to 30 seconds left to go. 15 on the power play. This has been a good kill.
Wow,
for Brian Wilson.
Yeah, for Brian Wilson. I wouldn't say for the hat tricks. There's a lot to find a way to keep the Black Bears away from charging the crease. Too many grade A opportunities for Binghamton on that power play, but Leonard is back on the ice.
They nearly turned it over. Final couple of seconds. They'll flip it to neutral territory. Binghamton will whack at it. They're off sides, and that is that. The Danbury hat tricks with 2 tallies here in the third period. Binghamton with 1. It's 4-3 going into the second intermission here at the Danbury Ice Arena. There's a ton still left to be said about this game.
Yeah, this one is far from over, that's for sure. Far from decided. As we get some yapping between the two sides along the red line. The officials, the referee standing there telling Binghamton to head to their room.
Yep.
Telling the hat tricks to head to their room.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, this is a total side note.
Yeah.
There are a lot of tough, rugged guys on each team, dressed for the game tonight. There is nobody more menacing that's out there participating in this game tonight than Steve Brown.
Yeah.
Who is in a suit, good-looking suit, I might add, and working the bench now as an assistant coach. He retired at the end of last season. He is still in tremendous physical condition.
Yeah.
He is such an imposing guy. But you talk to him off the ice, easy going, casual guy, funny, real quiet type guy.
And whenever he speaks up, everyone just immediately turns and pays attention to him.
He was that kind of leader with the hat tricks. He was here in the inaugural season, came back last season as well, ended up being one of the top 2 defensemen in the league. He was on the first All-Star team along with Kyle Powell of Binghamton. But good to see Steve Brown back. He missed the first few games, but he's here today. He's going to be helping out in practices. He's going to be coaching as an assistant for Billy McCreary. But I go back to the original point. Nobody scares me as much out there than Steve Brown does.
Yeah.
He is just a rugged customer. And boy, you talk about fan favorites. You use that phrase a lot. Stevie Brown is a serious fan favorite in this building.
Yes.
And I've noticed a couple times when he's been walking to and from the ice, you hear the fans shouting, Brownie, Brownie, Brownie. He's everything. It's great to see Steve Brown back behind the bench or back with the hat tricks this season.
He'll make a great coach. He's got all the makings of a good, solid leader of men.
Yeah, and the thing about Steve Brown, and now we're digressing here as we hit the second intermission. But the thing about him is everybody in that room respects him.
Yes.
for what he did in his career, how he stood up for teammates, how he played the game the right way. Very physical guy, not a dirty player at all.
Yeah.
Very physical guy, solid in his own end, contributed in the offensive end as well. And been a real kind of lead by example guy. And I know he was beloved in that locker room, and the fans here certainly love him as well.
Yep.
And again, great to see him working the bench as an assistant for Billy McCreary.
Well, with the digression on Steve Brown taken care of, we're going to take a quick breather. We'll hop back with more of this hockey game. It's been a fun ride, and we've got 20 more minutes to go. Second intermission. We'll take a breather here from the Danbury Arena. Chris Lynch and Jim Cerny, we've been greatly enjoying ourselves in the first 40 minutes of this game. We'll be enjoying ourselves for 20 more here on the Danbury Hat Tricks YouTube channel. Third period just about set to get under between the hat tricks and the Binghamton Black Bears. 4-3 the score as the teams start trickling back out onto the ice. Welcome in for what has been an entertaining Halloween weekend evening. Alongside Jim Cerny, I'm Chris Lynch. This has been kind of an interesting back and forth game where you keep thinking that the physicality is going to show up and become the story. And there's a few points where it has shown that the story has been A, Brian Wilson, and B, just a good back and forth hockey game.
Yeah, very good game. 4-3 right now in favor of Danbury. You know, and a big part of this game is special teams as well. You know, Danbury did not convert on any of their 3 power play opportunities to this point. And meanwhile, Binghamton is 2 for 5 on the man advantage.
And by the way, Danbury's only gotten 21 shots on net. That's by far their lowest total in any game to this point. They still have 4 goals on the board, which we should take a tremendous amount of encouragement out from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we'll see what the third period brings here. Big period of hockey. If you're Danbury, you want to close out this homestand with a big third period, finish this off, and finish a perfect homestand.
It took a wild bounce in front, just skittering across Steve Leonard's ability to get there. Pitched up and into the Binghamton bench. Takes all of 24 seconds before we get a stop.
And the hat tricks hit the road next weekend, and then they're right back here at Danbury Arena, you know, in 2 weeks. November 11th and 12th, they'll be back here on home ice, where they're 3-0 to start the season and where they were 24-6-0 a year ago. And that's even with losing 2 of their last 3 games on home ice last season.
They were so dominant throughout the course of the whole season.
At home, yeah.
Yeah. They'll be at Carolina next weekend for 2 games to face the Thunderbirds in Winston-Salem. And it's the Elmira Mammoth. And by the way, the 11th is going to be Military Appreciation Night. When that is the 11th, this is Veterans Day.
Absolutely.
It'd be grateful to welcome everyone there. And the 12th, we've got some special guests. The Mustache Classic will be out here. One of the Hanson brothers is going to be here. One of the actual Hanson brothers will be here. Raising money for charity because, you know, they're good people. Here come the Black Bears. No real numbers. Good cut across the middle. Gain the line. Anderson shoots it. Wilson makes a all too easy glove save where just had it lined up ready and just smooth in my mitt. That's it.
Absolutely. And you know, he's allowed 3 goals in this game. And certainly we've talked about the great saves that he's made. He's made some real highlight reel saves. But that's what I'd like about Brian Wilson that we've seen a lot of this weekend, last night and tonight, is that just calm, cool, and confident, you know, in the right position, making a hard shot look like an easy save. I've been very impressed with his first weekend of the season.
It'll be 30 saves that he has faced throughout the course, if my math is correct, as Wilson covers up another one.
Yeah, 30 shots.
30 shots made.
27 saves so far.
And we get a discussion in the corner here. This isn't going to amount to any penalty. Just ease up, boys.
Yeah, and the other thing that I like here from Wilson, too, is how he reacted to the Boiler goal. You know, it was a bad angle shot from along the goal line that went in off him and into the net. And, you know, that's the type of play that could really haunt a goalie or frustrate him or, you know, where he, you know, might overthink things after that. And instead, he's played his best hockey since that goal. That's the way you come back. You bounce back after a goal like that.
Hard hit by Tobias Ojic. Binghamton still on the prowl. Tries the wraparound. That's worked once before. Flipped all the way down to Binghamton ice. And actually on goal, so no icing. Pamela on in pursuit. Back come the Black Bears. Schultz will just drop this off. Pitched up. Right on Wilson, and skitters right by him. Rolls off. Gonzalez off the left side. Ojic. Shot on a little bit wide to the right. Ruiz out there as well. And this is a real throw the lines in the blender moment with Ruiz, Leonard, and Ojic out there. Billy McCreary is getting a bit more creative with his line pairings in the early stages of the third. Ojic will chip it down, and hey, Ojic has been really effective.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Ojic was just, he was still on the ice. He was caught on the ice.
Oh, here we go. Gordy Bonnell breaks free, shoots it. A save. Freaking save by Riley McVeigh. And Operation Get Gordy a Goal is still not quite working.
Great headman feed there.
Wow.
In the D. And he skated in all alone on Riley McVeigh. And instead of trying to, make some moves and get in tight, he got to the circle, he wound up the slot shot, and he just cranked it on net. And boy, Riley McVeigh with that quick left pad makes a big save and no rebounds. Boy, that was an impressive stop by McVeigh. And the faceoff now will come to his left, 2:56 into the third period.
17:04 left to be played. He's looked pretty solid for a lot of portions. Tried to spring it for Anderson. Backhander in front. Kick, save. Did that go in? The hands go up. The net came off the moorings as well.
I think the officials say no goal.
Yeah. The hands did not signal it. The Binghamton hands went up celebrating or claiming that there should have been a goal on that one. They're not ruling it as such. And I think they're just going to rule a dead puck. Wilson got across and made that play. And play on.
Now, Brian Wilson made the first save, diving in the crease, and then it was just mayhem after that. And, certainly from our vantage point, we couldn't see how close the puck was to the goal line, if it was over, if it was short of the goal line. Officials make the call. Not too big an argument here from Binghamton. Well, we get the face-off to the right of Wilson.
Draw one. Luke Richards with another good face-off win. Gesso chips it for Dowler. Will lug it forward. Along the board, shot wide to the left. Played back into the end by Binghamton. Richards in pursuit, not there for it. Dowler played off the boards. She in there for it. Hard hit away from the play. The Binghamton player is not happy about the hit.
I don't know if was that a hit or did they run into each other?
They may have just ran into each other and not seen. We're getting a penalty here. This is going to be an infraction against
Sheehan.
It's Sheehan. It's a high sticking minor. That's a bad, there are no good times to take penalties. But here in the third period, especially in this game where Brian Wilson has been your best penalty killer, but you've given up 2 goals on the man advantage.
So Sheehan goes to the box. Yeah, the thing is, discipline. And that is now 6 power plays handed to Binghamton, including 4 in a row dating back to last period.
That's not good.
Actually, make it 5 in a row.
Yeah. Into the slot, cleared away. They're very fortunate that took a bad bounce on Kirkby's stick. Ruiz ahead to the circle, holds it, puts it on net. Glove saved. It actually handcuffed McVeigh for a moment. Get a dead puck and we'll start this over again.
Now, Binghamton, they allowed a shorthanded goal in this one already. The Lugo goal that opened up the scoring under 4 minutes into the first period. They have allowed 5 shorthanded goals already this season. That is a ton. Played 6 games and allowed 5 shorthanded goals.
That's almost a shorty a game. That's really not a good sign. Though Danbury has most shorthanded goals in the league.
Yeah, but they allowed him to Mississippi, they allowed him to Elmira, and to Danbury.
A minute and 25 seconds left on the man advantage. They want to put this one up to the blue line. They'll just walk it there. Drop to the top of the circle. Puts it in front. Skitters across. Net came off its mooring, so we've got a whistle to kill the play. 15:28 left. And Binghamton, they've got the momentum in their favor. They've got the field. They've got the movement. And right now, Danbury just trying to muscle their way through it. And I think this is more what we were expecting out of this weekend, like this type of play where it's tense and fraught. These teams are both pretty darn good.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to jinx anything, but Danbury hasn't trailed in this game. They haven't trailed yet in the season.
I am knocking on the wood that's right beside me.
Can you imagine if the they fall behind here,
Let's
Billy McCreary's going to come find me.
not invoke the broadcaster's jinx.
Yeah.
Under a minute to go on the power play. Schultz denied entry. That's Lugo getting right underneath him to prevent that attack. To the circle. They wanted to get it down to Boilard. Couldn't get it to him. Behind the net. Full line extended. 35 seconds left on the power play. Long shot blocked down. Gibbs with the block there. Shoveled out. Good diving effort by Newberg to keep that in the attacking end. Ivoshkin has to pursue it. 20 seconds left on the power play. And this is good penalty killing. Just keep it stuck right against the boards. Kill some time, keep it moving. Binghamton will get it. They've got 12 seconds to work with. Shot on, save made, open net. Couldn't corral it. Great block. Great dive by Jared Yao. Would dive across and help his goalie out. The penalty has expired. Another good block, and they spring it ahead. Phil Brendan Sheehan passes a little bit too far. He'll have to fish it out of the corner. Wants to wrap this around. Turns shot. Saved by McVeigh. That's a great sequence, even though they didn't get a goal out of it.
Yeah, what a play by Jared Yao. After Wilson made the first save, he was badly out of position, and Yao was able to dive across and make that block.
Shot blocked aside. Kyle Gonzalez got a stick on it. This will be handled down. Played backwards. 13:40, the time remaining. Gesso. Up the left side, Ojic. Shot, glove hand save by McVeigh. And just made that look nice, smooth, and easy. We'll take a breather, hop back in a second from the Danbury Ice Arena in Hat City, USA on the Danbury Hat Tricks YouTube channel.
Set Fitness is the official gym and training center at the Danbury Hat Tricks. Pump iron or tone up. Don't get sand kicked in your face. Join Set Fitness and be the best you.
13:30 thereabouts. Left to play in regulation time. Chris Lynch and Jim Cerny on the call with you here this evening. Venstrom out there pursuing the puck. Ruiz with him. Venstrom got to it. 3 players engaged in the corner board battle. Good check thrown by Leonard. Ruiz drops it, wanted it back, tumbles down. 12:55 now left to play. Shots are 34-25 in favor of the visitors. This is the first time all season the Hat Tricks have been outshot at all throughout the course of a single game. And they haven't just been outshot. They've been meaningfully outshot in this game.
Now, still 12 and a half minutes to play.
Yep. They can flip that around, but Binghamton's created a bunch of good offensive looks for themselves throughout even just the course of this period.
And don't forget, too, that there's a big disparity as far as the power plays are concerned.
That's
Binghamton's
exactly right.
had 6 power plays. Danbury's had 3, so you get a bunch of shots that way as well.
Exactly right. Puck sits against the corner boards, carried out. Gesso spinning like a top. Tumbles down. No penalty again. Billy McCreary not that happy. I'm sure he's not happy about it, but he just goes back to his sheet of notes and right back on to the play. Up to the slot. Winds up shot. Good block by White Duck. They'll flip this one out. Tipped at the line by Gesso, and that's...
Nah, he missed it, so that's an icing.
Still an icing call. That was close to being a clean tip down, and being able to make something out of it.
Absolutely. Well, McCabe's Classic Deli in Brookfield is ready to serve you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Grab and go or ready to heat and eat McCabe's food with the Bronx flair. If the Hat-Tricks win tonight, everybody has won a buy one, get one free breakfast sandwich from McCabe's Classic Deli in Brookfield.
A few scores from around the league. We have a game that is final. Carolina beats Delaware 8-2. Motor City final over Port Huron 4-2. Watertown and Elmira. This game, I believe, has just gone final. 5-4. Watertown ends up getting that victory. And Mississippi's first truly bad game, they end up falling to Columbus. 8-2 ends up being the final in that game.
And, of course, we have new divisions in the league this season, and the Hat-Tricks and the Black Bears are both in the Empire Division.
Yep.
Along with Delaware, Elmira, and the defending champion, Watertown Wolves. Watertown with the win tonight are now 3-1. Delaware loses, they're 0-3-1. And Elmira sitting in the basement. They are 0-6 to start the season.
Hat-Tricks go ahead. Shot fluttered aside. Gesso throws a check. Both men keep their balance. Drops it down behind the net. Gesso again throws a hit. Working to keep possession of the puck. It's under his skate. Springs free. Jesso's still with it. Good effort shift by Gesso. That's going to show up when Coach McCreary goes and takes a look at all of this. Settled down by Gonzalez. He'll just dump it. He'll swap out a few players. Ojic now on the ice for Danbury. 10:50 left. 4-3 in favor of the hometown Hat-Tricks, trying to sweep the 4-game homestand. This is going to get waved as would have been a hand pass, but waved off as Ojic has the puck poked off his stick. Regains it. Donald turns, readies himself for contact. I think gets held against the boards, not really hit. Ojic whacks it into the stands, so that'll kill the play with 10:25 left.
Yeah, listen, I think 5-on-5, I think Billy McCreary's probably pretty happy with how this game's gone. Yeah, Binghamton certainly probably carried more of the play, certainly more than they did last night.
Yep.
So I think they played a better game. But 5-on-5, I think Billy will be pretty happy with his team. It's giving 6 power play opportunities to Binghamton is probably the thing that they'll want to change. A little bit more discipline next time out.
I'm very certain that they'll be looking for that, especially on the road in Carolina next weekend, where that's a tough place to play down to Winston-Salem.
Yeah, it's a long trip, and like you said, it's a tough place to play. It's a good team.
Yeah.
So, Hat-Tricks will have their hands full. But again, I say this, all the time, sound like the broken record. It's why you want to be a dominant home team. Not just good at home. You want to be a dominant home team because it's so hard to win on the road in this league.
10 minutes on the dot left to play here in the third. Danbury has led the entire game after they scored an early shorthanded goal as that puck finds its way out into the protective netting.
Good block by Gordy Bunnell there.
We'll take a breather, hop back in a second from the Danbury Ice Arena here on the Danbury Hat-Tricks YouTube channel.
Well, Chris, building up on hunger here tonight.
Yes.
So makes me think of Texas Roadhouse. Located on Newtown Road in Danbury. It opened its doors in 2017. And one of our favorite stops in Danbury with their hand-cut steaks, cactus blossom, fall-off-the-bone ribs, made from scratch sides, and fresh baked bread. The restaurant prides itself on its legendary food, legendary service, and legendary fun. That is Texas Roadhouse on Newtown Road in Danbury.
The mouth-watering ad read did not distract me from the fact that Brian Wilson had to make another couple of good saves. This has been the best goaltended game, I think, that the Hat-Tricks have gotten throughout the course of the season, and this is one of the 3 goals that's the same as the first game where they gave up 3 to Delaware. So, more goals. They only gave up 1 last night, but I still think that Wilson has probably had a better game because he made more difficult saves in this one.
Yeah, he's been called upon to make more difficult saves for sure, and it's a closer game.
Yep.
So those big saves are, could be the difference between winning and losing.
Here comes Lugo. Tries to throw it in front. Skitters away. Ojic was down, and Pamaleon wasn't in the right spot and just happened to bounce in a spot where they weren't quite prepared for it. It feels like the first offensive chance that Danbury has had in a good little bit since emerging from the power play. Stapled into the boards. McDonald can't get it out. Good keep by Abbott. Shot whacked at. Up top. Shot to the side. Kept in. Winds up. Save made by Wilson.
That's a good save because that was deflected on the way in.
Yeah. I don't even know if he actually directly saw it after the tip. As that's offside, so they have to reset.
Good right pad save by Wilson.
8:22 remaining here. The Hat-Tricks not dominating this game by any stretch of the imagination. Good keep by Gibbs at the point. That went off of the left pad of McVeigh. Binghamton will just get this one out of harm's way for the moment. Richards turns. This is knocked down. And here we go. Funneled through and covered. Wilson, who just killed the play. It's been a much more mellow affair here in the third period. Nowhere near as much physicality as there was in the second period, just like a hockey game.
Yeah, well, not just like a hockey game. I am a little surprised that not anything outrageous, but that we haven't seen a little bit more physicality here. But let's face it, each team, is probably looking for that next goal because it's a 1-goal game here.
Yeah.
And Danbury's played it a little bit more defensive. They're certainly not opening it up. They're not taking chances. And Binghamton, listen, they don't want to make any mistakes. They don't want to take any penalties.
Yeah.
Because they're down a goal. If they can get that next one, they're pulled even.
Treating is Gibbs. He'll get back to it. Gino D'Angelo thought that should have been a penalty. It's not whistled as such. Here comes Leonard. Slaloms through the neutral zone. Gains the attacking line. Shoots it. Just wide of the goal. Dowler pinched in. Puck sits, and Ruiz will flip it. Sticked aside by McVeigh and settled behind the net by Jake Schultz. 7 minutes on the dot. That shot counter sits at 36-25. A 33-save effort for Brian Wilson. Pamaleon kept that one in. Lugo keeps with it. Backhands it behind the net. Ojic played it into empty space.
Yeah, no one there. So just blind pass, but he's trying to put it right out in front, hoping somebody was in the slot.
I like the idea. It just didn't quite work. Lugo with the keep to Pamaleon. No retreat. Needs some help, and we got a fight going. Ojic dropping the mitts and trading some blows. That's Boilard, whom he is punching.
Now, not much of a fight there. They got all tangled up, and they couldn't really, get their arms free.
Yeah.
But they'll each get 5 minutes. And for Boilard, that's his second fight of the night. Ojic, his second fight of the season. And with 6:21 to play, they've pretty much negated themselves for the rest of this one.
They'll come out of the box with change left on, and I'm actually kind of thinking that Billy McCreary might not be the happiest about when Ojic took that fight, just because he's not going to have one of his better players that he could put out there on the ice for big, important minutes.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You'd rather have Tobias Ojic out there playing and sitting in the box for the next 5 minutes when you're holding on to a 1-goal lead here late in the third period. So that's a very valid point. But whatever happened. Whatever started that fight. I see the guys, they're yelling at each other right now in the box, or in the boxes. But it is what it is. So, now you're down to Ojic, and that means somebody else has to step up.
All throughout the young season, somebody has stepped up for the Danbury Hat-Tricks, and they need 6 minutes and 10 seconds more. Here comes Binghamton, denied entry, and also whistled for an offsides. A little bit fast at the line is Cameron Yarwood.
Yeah, that every time you see Tobias Ojic fight, your instinct is to say, well, of course he's fighting. Who's his dad? His dad's Gino Ojic.
Of course.
One of the all-time toughest guys to ever play in the National Hockey League. And a guy that I got to know pretty well when I was broadcasting with the Islanders. He was there for a season, and I got to know Gino really well. What an absolute sweetheart off the ice.
Yeah.
But on the ice, man, he was a different cat. He was a tough dude.
Save made by McVeigh. That's kind of a running theme that the tough guys are frequently. Steve Brown, for example, has imposing presence, wonderfully good dude.
Yeah, right. Exactly right. And certainly Gino Ojic was that.
And yep, it is just simple. 5 minutes for fighting. So with a great save. And the net came off its moorings. Point blank chance in front for the Black Bears. And a brilliant save by Wilson.
I mean, Brett Parker was all alone, Chris. A great centering feed. Somehow the Hat-Tricks defenseman lost Parker all alone on the doorstep. And he didn't make a mistake. I mean, that puck didn't sit on his stick. He got it. He shot it. And boy, Wilson gets across, and he makes a spectacular, to this point, game-saving save.
Yes, that could be the big one, as we're getting a timeout here. It's Binghamton who's taking the timeout. This is a good time for them to take it. We'll take it as well. We'll give ourselves a chance to breathe before the final stretch of this here hockey game between the Hat-Tricks and the Black Bears. And on the Danbury Hat-Tricks YouTube channel. Five minutes, 25 seconds remain to be played in this here game between the Hat-Tricks and the Black Bears. We're in the final stretch, and there's still an awful lot of intrigue. Binghamton just took a timeout. They don't pull their goaltender yet. They've still got some time before they really need to do that, and it's only a 1-goal deficit that they have to try and overcome. Puck will be shunted off to the right side, sits in the offensive corner. Skitters across the blue line, intercepted by Jared Yao. We haven't said his name that much.
Well, he made a really big defensive play, that big block when Wilson was out of position earlier in the period.
Yeah.
But, right, he hasn't been as involved offensively as he was in the first 3 games.
Wilson slides out to stop this. That's a little aggressive. I'm always a little bit worried when goalies come out to play the puck that aggressively, but it ends up working. McVeigh sits it behind his net. Schultz up forward for D'Angelo. Pamaleon separates his man from the puck. Lugo turns and goes. Dumped in. Will chase his zone dump. McDonald at the blue line. And so it'll be icing. 4:02 left. We get a bunch of deliberating about what that should be, and it's not going to be immediate timeout. We just had an icing call.
Yeah, Billy McCreary says, let's go.
Yep.
Let's get that face-off down there. That was just an icing. And again, here's Binghamton slowing things down, letting their guys get, let them catch their breath a little bit. And Billy McCreary's like, hey, let's hurry it up. Let's go. Let's get down there. Let's drop the puck. We've seen this happen multiple times already tonight.
It's a crafty move to say that.
It is. It's the right thing to do if you're Binghamton.
Yeah. Gino D'Angelo was especially late getting out there, but, he's back now. 3:50 left to go in regulation time. Binghamton searching for the equalizer. They may have it here. Now they do. A big goal. Nikita Ivashkin. You figured you weren't going to be able to stop him for the entire series. And we're tied up at 4 goals apiece with 3:45 left.
Yeah, Ivashkin, kind of got lost between the circles there. And, we saw it just a couple minutes ago when Brett Parker was wide open in front. Well, Wilson made a great save there. Here, it was a great rush up ice, and everyone was focusing on the guy carrying the puck. Then the hat-tricks forgot about Ivashkin, and, that's just a slam dunk in front. And we've got ourselves a 4-4 game with 3.5 minutes to play.
Has a whole new feeling to it. This is the first time the hat-tricks have been tied this late in a game. This is going to be, not quite icing. Just barely runs out of steam. Leonard pursuing the puck hard. Put Regala into the boards. Leonard tries to jackknife this through. 3:10 left. Jared Yao shoots it. Save made by McVeigh. It's a good performance by Riley McVeigh tonight. 27 shots on net for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. We're now under 3 minutes to go. That puck is out of play. I think I hit one of the speakers on its way down. And now we're going to get that media timeout. We'll take it. Back in a moment. Final stretch on the Danbury Hat-Tricks YouTube channel. Two minutes, 53 seconds remain to determine regulation between the Hat-Tricks and the Black Bears here at the Danbury Ice Arena. Shot on save made. It trickles under McVeigh, but not quite enough to sneak its way through.
Dustin Gesso right there. Yeah, good face-off win, and Gesso had a nice screen set up in front, and he put a good hard low shot on net. And that's a good save right there by Riley McVeigh.
If you need a goal out of anyone at this point, you're looking at Gesso and Richards, who have been your top scorers through the first couple of games. Jesso's been the league's top scorer through the first couple of games. That's blocked down. Binghamton looking for what would be an enormous win against a division rival.
On the road.
On the road. It's even more important. They would be happy to get us a split. Shot over the crossbar and off the end of the glass. Had that look. Sheehan will just leave it. Danbury swapping players. Whiffed on it. And it couldn't do much of anything with it as it goes through Venstrom. Venstrom's still in pursuit. Pushes this puck out. takes the punishment. Open net. Didn't have anybody at the spot in order to get there.
Yeah, Lugo was there setting up the screen, and Venstrom did the right thing, got the puck to the net.
Yep.
But Lugo was tied up by the defenseman.
We're now under 2 minutes to play. Building's going to go berserk if the Hat-Tricks get another goal. This is knocked down. Sits and rolls behind. Takes an odd bounce. It goes into that particular devil corner, so of course it does. Takes a bounce and covered up with 1:36 left by McVeigh.
Yeah, I'm not sure why McVeigh wanted to hold the puck there. Really, there was only one hat-trick player in the offensive zone, and he wasn't particularly close. He could have laid that puck back behind his net, and then, puck comes right out of their end. Binghamton would have carried out of their zone. Now there's a face-off to McVeigh's right with 1:36 to go.
Ruiz, Bonnell, and Leonard out there to take the draw. Binghamton comes away with this. Looking for somewhere to go. This will be tap deep. 1:25 left. Binghamton having a hard time generating something here. Blocks it. Oh, here we go. Tried to center it. Dowler will clear it away and take it himself. Here comes Dowler. Right downhill. Shoots it. Blocked aside. Knuckling puck. And it ends up corralled right on net by McVeigh.
Yeah, good job by Dowler leading the rush. He had Johnny Ruiz to his right. And instead he kind of split the two defenders, put a shot towards the net that was deflected. So it went from being a harder shot to kind of a knuckleball shot, as you called it. And McVeigh did the wise thing. He gobbled it up and held on to it. So a big face-off here with 66 seconds remaining in regulation.
Perhaps a more accurate term would have been a pinballing shot.
Yeah.
Sheehan's out to take the draw. He's been on the wing for much of this game. Steps into the center dot between Richards and Gesso. And that stick down. Binghamton going to carry it up. Well, denied entry. We've got under a minute left to go here in regulation time. 50 seconds. Oh, it skitters underneath Sheehan's stick. Kept in at the blue line. And shoveled deep. Not connecting on anybody, and everyone feels a bit tired. And we're going to figure out who's got enough legs for the last couple of minutes. Poked aside by Jared Yao. Binghamton looks for another rush. They don't have it. They keep the attack, though, to the circle. They're going to try the wrap. Nope. Trying to center it right in front. Turns, fires, blocked aside, backhanded towards the net. Not there. 15 seconds left to go. Binghamton carrying the play. Yao trying to get it out to neutral territory. They can't. Johnny Ruiz going to sprint up on his final seconds. Do they have enough time? Looking for the play. Backhands across. Shot. Stop. No, it's after the whistle. Oh, no. Oh, they're going to say it's just after the whistle. Sheehan to Ruiz. Oh. And the fans are hot. Oh. And Billy McCreary wants to talk with the officials. The officials are talking it over now, and they're in agreement. They're both saying no goal. Oh, that's painful. If we could get a play of this. See, and now our clock, of course, we wouldn't have the exact timing on it. That was close.
I mean, listen, it was so close.
Yeah.
And this is not the NHL where, that clock that's on every replay down to the final 10th of a second. But boy, it couldn't have been any closer, Chris. It could not have been any closer.
Wow. And it got this.
That backhand pass.
It's a beautiful setup.
To Johnny Ruiz. Hat-tricks were on a 3-on-2, and then it became a 2-on-1 down low. And Johnny was in all alone. He made no mistake.
No.
Roofing it over Riley McVeigh, but to no avail. And we are heading to overtime for the first time this season.
Wow. Quite a sequence here. Quite a sequence. Binghamton gets one goal in the third period to force the game even at 4 apiece. It'll be a 5-minute overtime session. The officials still deliberating about
Yeah, they're not deliberating. I mean,
sorting out the rules to make sure they're all clear on it.
and here's the thing, too, is that, the official that was down there made the call.
Yep.
And it was so close. It wasn't like, it's blatantly could have been this or that. It's by a hair. It was one way or the other. And I couldn't envision another one of the officials overruling the official who made the original call. I mean, they're going to back each other up on that. And I'm not saying they're wrong to do so.
Yeah.
Frustrating, though, if you're Danbury.
Yeah.
Because, again, this isn't the NHL. There's no clear-cut way. There's no overhead camera with a clock, to tell you when did the puck cross the goal line, when did it go down to 0-0. Is what it is, and we'll go to overtime instead. But not to be lost in all that is, what a pass by Sheehan, and what a finish by Johnny Ruiz.
That's a good pairing to have out there on the ice. They'll send out Ruiz, Leonard, and Gonzalez to open up the extra session. Here we go. It's 5 minutes, 3-on-3 skating, sudden death. So next goal wins. This is the first time the Hat Tricks have gone to overtime in the season.
Keep in mind that if you win in overtime, it's 2 points, not 3. So, the Hat Tricks here lost a point, even if they end up winning the game.
Now, I'm sure that Billy McCreary is going to look at that in the standings with some bit of disappointment, especially we're going to look at that Ruiz ultimately no goal as Binghamton slides up, tries the wrap, pivots off. Here we go. Tries to shield it. Wants it in front. Not there. Backhanded. Blocked aside by Leonard. Gordy Bonnell out there. Looks to go. Tried to toe drag and it rolled off his stick. We've played a full minute of overtime consecutively. No stoppage. Everybody on their feet here at the Danbury Ice Arena. Walks it in. Shot save made by Wilson. And the puck bounces free. Here comes Gesso. 2-on-1. Gordy Bonnell with them. Gesso to Bonnell. He shoots. And no, that didn't go down. I'm amazed that didn't go down just with that angle and how open the net was.
Yeah, even Riley McVeigh was looking behind him. Yarwood might have made the save along the goal line.
I'm going to have to get another look at that. That's a great defensive play, and it's been the most entertaining game of the season to this point. Here come the Black Bears. Oh, it rolled off the stick of Brett Parker. 2 men down. That'll be the first stoppage in overtime. Ojic down.
Yeah, he was sticked in the mouth.
Yarwood down too.
Oh, yeah, and Tobias Ojic is bleeding pretty badly.
Yep. That's pretty apparent. Head athletic trainer Amy Schneider coming out immediately to attend to him. Just gives him a towel. And Ojic is going to head straight off the ice.
Oh, yeah, that was rough. So what happens is Yarwood loses his footing and he goes down. He doesn't control his stick. And as he goes down, his stick comes up and it goes right in the mouth of Tobias Ojic. And I mean, that's an automatic.
Yep, he's going into the box.
Yeah, no, it's an automatic. He didn't mean to do it. It was completely accidental. But you have to be able to control your stick.
Yep.
Yarwood did not. And I mean, it's got to be a double minor, and it is, which means the rest of overtime, as long as Danbury doesn't take a penalty, Danbury will be on a 4-on-3 power play, a chance to win the game here in overtime.
And how poetic would it be? One of the least successful facets of the Hat Tricks, the power play, has a chance to be the deciding factor. Hat Tricks win the faceoff. Good job by Sheehan. Ruiz carried it up to the blue line. Wanted to wind up. Ruiz had it on his wrong hands. Is it down here to the point? Gonzalez walks this in. Looks to the right side. Across. Shot. Skitters wide.
That's good left pad save there by McVeigh. Good setup to Sheehan.
Walks this in. Cross. Ooh, didn't quite have the look. Leonard kept. Gonzalez walks it, shoots it, tip, goes wide.
Sheehan again in front with the tip.
He's turning into that net front presence guy. He's up above the blue line here, receives it to the circle, walks in. Danbury has a man go down. They're just going to keep on playing. Ruiz standing idly by in the circle. Now he'll step in. He's going to
somebody's got to get in front of the net. They have nobody in front of the goaltender.
2:10 left. The hat-trick's just holding it and looking for the perfect shot.
Yeah, being very, very deliberate.
To the circle. That's blocked aside. Can they win the race to the puck? Nice job by Sheehan to get there in time. Hat-tricks will keep this one rolling. Ruiz, one-timers, save made into the netting overhead, and we've got 1:51 left in a period, thanks really to the power play where possession has been owned by the hat-tricks.
They're being very deliberate, very patient. Probably, as a fan, you look at it and you say, come on, let's go, shoot the puck. But they're looking for a certain thing. They're certainly looking to find Johnny Ruiz in that left circle. It just didn't work. So now they change it up. 4 new skaters on the ice.
Off the tie-up, Danbury's going to come away with it. Bunnell off to the left blue line. Walks this one down. Drop pass, Yao. Across, tipped. They just barely keep that onside.
Good job by Gesso, but this one's going to come all the way out.
They'll have to regroup. They've got 1:30 left in the extra session. Here comes Gesso. Dances around, gets to the left circle, cuts through. That's the information stand. Time to sweep the Black Bears.
What a move by Dustin Gesso. It just seems like if he wants it, he gets it in the early part of the season.
Wow. An unbelievable scoring sequence. A badly needed. They've been looking at Gesso. He's been their best player. That's a great win. And we've actually got some talking at the benches. Johnny Ruiz, who's trading words with Tyler Jurich, who's been talking all through these hat-tricks, at the bench now instead of taking their typical celebratory moment around the center ice. They'll go with the Litchfield Distillery barrel. Oh boy, this has been something, and they're still talking. They're still coming out there. Still.
Yarwood, I guess, is really upset. I think Yarwood is really, really upset, about the penalty that he took, but it was an obvious call.
Yeah.
Ojic left the ice bleeding from the mouth.
You had to call it.
Absolutely had to call it.
By rule, it's a double minor.
Absolutely.
So, the Danbury Hat-Tricks get a badly needed overtime win. They're going to start skating off, and we've got our 3 stars of the game, and I'll start calling them deservedly so. The number 3 star, Brian Wilson, a 38-shot faced effort, 34 saves if we're going by the counter up on the board. Number 2, Tobias Ojic, really took over a big chunk of the second period and ran a bunch of the offense. And number 1, Dustin Gesso with the overtime winner.
Yeah, overtime winner, and 2 goals on the night. His league-leading 7th is the overtime winner. It's a power play goal. They struggled on the power play tonight, but when they needed it, they got it at the end, and it was absolutely a fantastic effort by Dustin Gesso. Really,
yeah.
Man amongst boys, really. The game was on his stick, and he was going to make the difference, and that's exactly what happened.
A wonderful, wonderful performance by the Danbury Hat-Tricks across the first 2 games of the weekend.
Well, the first 4 games.
What a wonderful homestand. They win all 4 of them. They only get 2 points out of the last of these games in overtime, but still, rather be on that side of it than be on Binghamton's side of it, where they get swept by one of their biggest rivals in division. But don't make any mistakes. This Binghamton team is gonna be around in big playoff contention as the season moves on into its later stage.
Yes, absolutely. And here it is. But bottom line is this, after Binghamton ties the game late there, it's a game Danbury had to find a way to win. It would have been a really tough, bad early season loss at home, and it would have been a huge lift for Binghamton. But instead, they found a way. They caught a break.
Yes, they did.
The errant stick by Yarwood that cut Ojic, created the 4-minute, the double minor in overtime. So now you got a lot of open ice, 4-on-3. We talked about them being too deliberate, waiting for that perfect opportunity. Well, they got the puck to the right guy, the hottest hand in the league right now, and Dustin Gesso made no mistake. After, it looked like quite possibly that the Hat-Tricks had won the game at the buzzer in regulation. But to Danbury's credit, they pulled themselves off the mat. They allowed a late goal, then the disallowed goal by Ruiz at the buzzer, and then to win it in overtime. Dustin Gesso is second of the night, 7th of the season.
And I'll say again, another underrated story, even though we made him the number 3 star of the night. How many brilliant saves did Brian Wilson make throughout the course of the year?
No, I totally agree. Brian Wilson deserved to be one of those 3 stars. Listen, that lead could have been lost long before with the big saves that he was making, because Binghamton certainly had the better of the opportunities, I thought, in the second half of the game. Certainly in the third period, but throughout the second half of the game. So hats off to Brian Wilson, hats off to Dustin Gesso. And for the Danbury Hat-Tricks, it is a perfect homestand, sweeping Delaware last weekend, sweeping Binghamton this weekend, and now they can take a day off, get back to practice, and then travel down to Carolina for 2 games next weekend.
The game on Friday, the 4th of November, 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time, will be puck drop between the Hat-Tricks and the Thunderbirds at the Winston-Salem Fairground Annex. The game on Saturday, the 5th, will be at 6:05 p.m. And then November 11th and 12th, the Hat-Tricks will be right back here to face the Elmira Mammoth. The 11th is going to be Military Appreciation Day. Make sure to sign up, and if you are a military veteran, get a complimentary ticket. Just sign up on the website, and we will treat you to a wonderful night here at the Danbury Ice Arena. 7:30 p.m. will be that game, the Saturday game, where one of the Hanson brothers will be here that night. One of the actual guys from the movie will be here at 7 p.m. for the game on November 12th. This was a great homestand, a great way to open up the season for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. And man, there's an awful lot of excitement off of these first 2 weekends going into the rest of the season, and deservedly so for just how well this group of guys performed.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, a little housekeeping to close things up here. Johnny McDonald was credited with the lone assist on the Gesso goal that came at 3:39 of overtime. So the first overtime win of the season, the 4th consecutive win to start the season for the Hat-Tricks. And also, at the end, Yarwood was assessed a gross misconduct penalty.
Oh.
So that will be a suspension for Yarwood, going after the officials. And it's obviously losing your head there, losing your composure, not a smart move by him. But again, I have to defend the officials here.
Yep.
Because it's an automatic.
Yep.
I know he did not mean to high stick Tobias Ojic, but you have to control your stick. He's going down, throws the stick up, whether he meant, he didn't mean to do it. Ojic gets cut. I mean, it's an automatic double minor.
Yep.
And the officials made the right call. Now, Yarwood may have been unhappy with something that happened before, or why he went down in the first place. But the bottom line is, they got the call right about the high stick, and the Hat-Tricks take advantage, and they take it on home and sweep this series, and are now 4-0 on the season.
For all of the wonderful people here with the Danbury Hat-Tricks, we are so grateful that you tuned in and enjoyed your weekends with us. We'll be on the road next weekend. We'll be back here on the call for the 11th and 12th when the Mammoth come into town. So, for my partner in crime, Jim Cerny, I'm Chris Lynch saying good night from Hat City, USA. The final in this one, 5-4 in overtime. So grateful that you got to spend your night with us here on the Danbury Hat Tricks YouTube channel. Happy Halloween, everybody.